Okay. Oh, wait. Number 20, right?
Number 20, we are live.
Okay. Number 20.
Let's go.
Hello, and welcome to the 20th episode of the Destiny Community Podcast, brought to you by Blue Microphones and Headphones. This week, we have Unknown Player, otherwise known as Andrew, because that's going to get annoying to call you Unknown Player every single time.
We could just call him Up, like the movie.
Up like the
and
movie.
Special guest, Professor Broman.
Can we call you Up?
If you're watching the video portion of the podcast now, the person that looks like Professor Broman is actually Patrick. I shaved my head. There's a video about it on the channel, which will be linked in the description.
How about that?
How's everyone doing this week? My head's cold.
You got the cold head. Huh.
I'm doing
amazing. Nice. I'm doing good as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My head is warm.
Got a warm
My
head?
face is
Happy.
Top and bottom.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
I'm really
And
happy.
apparently it's a different. Explain to me how time zones work. So we're talking to you right now, Andrew, right? And it's 6 o'clock here in California, but it's a different time over where you are, right? Is that how that
So I'm
works?
actually in the future, so I can.
Okay.
I could, if I wanted to, tell you what's going to happen in.
Excellent.
It's kind
Has
of a
the
rule.
president
you're not allowed
blown
to.
up the USA yet?
I can't disclose the information. It's a rule
Did
of
they
being.
impeach him finally?
It's a rule of being in the future. You can't talk about what happens in the future.
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay.
Exclusive club.
Yes.
Time riffs and stuff. Yep.
So you're over in the UK right now, right?
Yes, London.
What time is it for you right now? It's early morning, right?
2 a.m.
Crazy.
But
Thank
this is
you very
actually
much
normal
for being-
for you. This is normal for him. He's a YouTuber.
So right
It's-
about now, you'd be getting up and making your cup of coffee, or what time do you normally start your day?
Yeah,
or tea, sorry.
obviously. Tea.
I'm not making
Wow.
assumptions here. Do you drink coffee or tea?
I don't know. It varies. It depends. Like sometimes, like events and traveling resets it, where you're kind of forced to wake up early and be on a schedule. But then I
The
feel like the
question was
longer
about
you
tea,
go on
Andrew.
like a
The question was
about tea or the sleep
tea or
schedule.
coffee. We don't care
Oh,
about
tea.
sleep.
Obviously, tea. Like,
Tea, really?
Obviously.
Told you.
I drink. So much
Obviously,
tea.
like, I mean, what is British people's obsession with tea? I mean, what
It's
is
just, it tastes so clean. It's like it's just I don't know. It's just
It's a
tea.
clean
Like,
beverage?
what would be your what would be your go-to tea? What you're unknown player and you're walking into your kitchen to make yourself a cup of tea. What does it look like?
Right.
What brand of tea or
Just tell me. Just walk
Style.
me through it. I am you. I am looking at what kind of tea.
you
Go
go
with
into the
Earl Grey
kitchen,
here.
you get your tea. I don't have a preference of brand. Any tea. Yorkshire
Any tea?
tea.
What kind of
PG.
flavor? Is it just black?
I think it's just. I mean, over here it's just normal tea, but I think to Americans
Like
it's called breakfast tea.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
it's called
but yeah,
breakfast.
no like
oh,
fancy
that's breakfast tea. Okay.
herbs and
All right.
ginger and. fancy
Well, that's
stuff
like a
and
black
spices.
tea.
Just
Yeah.
just
It's like
tea.
black
Just normal tea.
Yeah, not Earl Grey.
Breakfast tea.
You don't drink Earl Grey, do you?
I have, but not. I don't
That's not
have a
good.
brand of preference.
I'm not gonna lie. This is a boring conversation.
I'm sorry, but to Americans, this is interesting to me. I'm a
Do you
guy
call-
who,
Do you call English muffins over there?
yeah.
We don't have English muffins. I think we call them scones. Or
Yeah.
It's not a scone. Scones are two very different. That's like the hard pastry type thing, right?
But English, but we have muffins like the chocolate sweet muffins. We don't have. Yeah, that
You don't
muffins
have
are
like
sweet.
the English muffin, like the flat bready thing that you cut in half and put butter on. with
I'm
some-
pretty sure that's a scone.
I'm pretty sure it's a
pretty sure.
scone. I'm pretty
It's not a
See,
scone.
Scones
I
are
can't wait
different.
until we
I think
get- Sure it
scones are
is.
different in the United States.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean it's like cookies and biscuits, right? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, biscuits. I don't know. I don't know what you call it. We call all cookies are biscuits.
Yeah, that's
basically.
crazy over
Like
here.
there are
Unless
cookies,
it's like
with
a
little
chocolate chip cookie.
ones.
Yeah, we
Yeah, the only thing
we have
I like
biscuits for
on
dinner, but
biscuits is
they're
gravy.
savory.
Yeah.
No,
Like an Oreo
That
is a
is not-
biscuit.
Biscuits for
Or-
No,
breakfast.
it's
Yes.
not.
You put
It's
gravy
not
on.
Oreo.
I am not putting
No.
gravy on an
It's
Oreo.
not
I'm telling you
gravy.
that much.
That's
If-
like putting
if
gravy on a
anyone-
cookie.
Yeah, if anyone wasn't aware, this is a Destiny oriented podcast, so we're 6 minutes in ish right about now.
this is
Didn't
pretty
we go through this with
interesting.
Bible?
I like
We're
talking
We're
about
talking
the differences.
to unknown player about what makes him tick. We need to know what makes the man, the myth, the legend. How do people know about you in the Destiny community?
I do, yeah, a lot of Destiny videos. Quite a range. I like to kind of broaden the channel and not just kind of focus on one thing as much as I can. But like obviously with when there's new content and when there's kind of slow down content, you kind of have to think about what you're going to post. But I'll do pretty much a variety. I'll do a lot of live content, so like Crucible gameplays or trials, highlights with my friends. I'll do like guides and like how to get a weapon or how to level up fast when there's new content out. So kind of talking about content, and also news as well. So talking about what's coming up and like what's with Destiny 2 or like some DLC or expansion or whatever's happening. It's kind of a broad variety. But right now it's mainly like Crucible live commentaries. Like I'll pick a weapon, go into Crucible, have some fun with it, do kind of the face cam and the live commentary. But yeah, it's quite a mix.
So you're not the guy that does the crazy unboxing, are you?
The one-handed unboxing?
Yeah.
That's
You're not that
Brett.
guy. That's a different
Brett.
guy. Okay, good.
That's the other one.
That's the other one. You know what? I've sorry.
No, the other
Or
one.
console.
Oh, the other one. Okay.
That's
The other one.
Eric's?
Other one.
Eric's? No, the other one.
Eric's.
Did you
Yeah,
start doing YouTube with Destiny, or were you playing other games on YouTube before that? How'd you start?
Yeah,
How'd you
I played a
start with
variety of games on my channel. I played a lot of COD. I've played a lot of GTA 5, Battlefield. But yeah, I did. So if you want like the full kind of story how I got into Destiny, I could go into that.
Yeah.
Love it.
So it was actually, I guess, so Activision invited me to E3 in 2014. And that was the primary focus was to check out Destiny because they were releasing it and doing a big kind of push and showing off Destiny for the first time at E3. That was the alpha. And that was also with Morconsole. That was the first time I met Morconsole, Alan. And we kind of became friends after that. And yeah, I checked out Destiny at E3. Didn't really know what to expect. It was kind of, because there's no real good way to explain Destiny. It's just like what is it? It's kind of multiplayer, it's kind of Halo, it's kind of COD, it's kind of just a weird game. And back in the alpha, no one knew about the whole loot and the raids and the kind of the end game. So it was a very weird game to look at, but I always thought it looked really cool. It looked really polished. It looked really just, the graphics are amazing. It was colorful. The enemies, it just looked really awesome. But I mainly played and posted COD back then. But then I played the alpha, which was really cool to be able to play it. And I thought, yeah, it was a good game. Played the beta as well. And then when it launched, I played it quite a lot, but only with like one other friend. And we played it till probably about level like 24, but we did most of the content other than the raid because there's only two of us. But then he kind of got bored of the game and just stopped really playing it anymore. So I was kind of getting to that point of thinking, what can I do? Because I didn't have like 5 other people I knew that played Destiny that could hop on and do a raid and do the end game content. So I was kind of like on the edge of possibly quitting. It's crazy to think I may have just quit Destiny at that point. But then Alan Morconsole reached out to me and he was like, yo, I'm doing a Deej asked him to do if he wants to be involved in a Bungie bounty. I think it was the second ever one or the third one back in the launch. So Deej had asked Alan Morconsole if he wanted to do a Bungie bounty.
One. I think it was the first one.
I'm not sure if it was. It may have been.
I think I got the second or the third one or the other. But yeah,
this one may have been the third, possibly.
Okay.
But yeah. So Alan was like, "Yo, do you want to be in the Bungie bounty?" And then I thought, "Yeah, sounds cool." Hopped into that, and then we did the Bungie bounty so it was Deej, myself, Alan, and then my name is Bife joined, a guy called Fraser from I think Prime Guard, and Destiny Overwatch or Martin. So we all did the Bungie bounty. It was all good. Also back then, that was when it was super hard. You had to go flawless for 2 hours and not lose a game of Crucible. If you lost, you would not get the emblem. 2 hours of Crucible and you could not lose. But we did it. Don't know how it was like back in year one. No one really knew anything, but we did it. We got the emblem and then right away, but we completed the bounty. And then after the Bungie bounty was done, obviously Deej hopped off and then Frage hopped off as well. And then Morconsole grabbed 2 other friends, Little Big Oki and Bywolf, because we wanted to do a raid, because we thought there's like 5 or 6 of us here, we might as well do a raid. And I'd never done the raid before. I don't think many of us had done the raid. I knew Bife had. He was kind of the main tour guide. He was the main kind of raid leader, I guess. But we thought, yeah, there's enough of us here, we might as well do a raid. And so you hopped into the False Glass, did it first time. It was so much fun. I remember getting like my Mida, which was my first ever exotic. And that was kind of like the progression of me. And then all of us, the 6 of us, that literally became like Peasant Guard, our kind of clan. And that is how all of us became like friends. We all regularly play raids, we regularly do content. And that was literally the entirety of year one. And then I didn't really, like, throughout the entire of year one, I didn't really post many Destiny videos to my channel. It was mainly still COD. But then I thought it got towards year 2, Taken King, and I thought, I love this game so much, I play it so much, I might as well integrate it into my YouTube channel. Like, if I'm really passionate about a game, I may as well post it on channel. And so I started posting a lot more videos, and it kind of took me to here. Got some got a lot of got a really awesome community. Really really enjoyed it so far. And yeah, with a Taken King, and then April update Rise of Iron, and that is how we got to this point.
Nice.
What was the moment when you decided to switch your YouTube channel over from being Call of Duty focused to Destiny focused?
I think it was definitely the beginning of the Taken King, I'd say, because I played a lot of Destiny for all of year one. Like I was there from the launch. I played it probably more than I did COD. But with the Taken King, I thought if I play this game so much, I might as well put up my content, because I think one of the core fundamentals of running a YouTube channel or Twitch or any kind of content creation, you need to be super passionate about what you do. Just pick it, and hopefully it's a game that's kind of popular, because like the game that doesn't have much of an audience or a community, then you aren't really going to grow that much. But if you kind
Hopefully
of
it's not Advanced Warfare, is what you mean?
Well, I mean, even still, COD's got a very big fan base. But the thing with the COD, it's so established. So a lot of the biggest YouTubers already have their audiences. There isn't really well, it kind of depends again. Black Ops 3 had huge growth, but you have to kind of pick a game that you really enjoy in order to be successful. Because if you don't enjoy the game, you're not going to do well. So I just kind of fell in love with Destiny and still play it Taken King, I thought. And also being friends with, I guess, more console and Bife, and those guys were like proper, like full-on Destiny YouTubers, and those guys kind of inspired me, and seeing them put up their videos and seeing them enjoy it and seeing the kind of community growth and kind of being involved a little bit with Peasant Guard and kind of being somewhat known with the group Peasant Guard, it kind of inspired me to want to, and obviously a lot of encouragement from them, like, yeah, go for it, post some Destiny videos, let's all have more people in Peasant Guard do YouTube. But yeah.
Nice.
All right. So there's one thing that's happened.
Well, no.
Okay, so more.
I'm so sorry. Yes,
Okay.
there are some
Okay.
very important questions that we need to ask unknown player
one always
here,
comes
and they
up.
determine the podcast. Okay.
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 Is it about tea?
First, it's kinda. First, you're back in your kitchen, and you've just poured yourself a hot cup of tea, a spot of tea. Okay. And you're about to serve yourself some breakfast, some cereal. Now, do you put the cereal in first, then the milk, or the milk in, then the cereal? This is a very important question, and it
It's
will
very
determine the next 2 hours. Go.
Definitely cereal and then milk.
Obviously. Yeah.
Thank you. I mean,
I was expecting all you to turn around and just suddenly leave
No.
milk first.
No,
Yeah,
I guess
No,
Yeah.
it's only me. It's
It's
only me
only
at this point.
Patrick.
It's only bro.
Yeah.
You put milk in
well,
and then
it's
cereal.
also it's Broman up there, and it's also luminosity.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, I did that yesterday because I was running out of milk and I needed to leave enough so I could make some tea as well. So I poured the milk in first, knowing that I could measure it, and then just poured the cereal on top. But that was the only time I've ever done that. But no,
Yeah.
cereal.
Momentary
cereal
lapse of judgment is okay.
Apparently, some
first. when you
people
need to
that-
when you need to measure it.
You're saying you put some milk into your tea also?
Yeah.
Yeah.
you put milk in tea. Okay, now we're gonna have to
kind of
talk.
Oh,
I do
yeah,
that
like-
too. It's delicious, especially in breakfast tea.
Well, a lot of people.
Yeah, Earl Grey
Not
tea.
too much
Okay.
though.
It's great.
All right, I'm American.
You
I'm
can't kill it
sorry.
with
I drink
sugar either.
coffee.
You can't
And
kill it with loads of sugar.
how much?
You can't kill it with loads. I put literally like
Cannot.
a tiny bit. Like
Can you guys imagine if there was something that we really wanted to talk about this week?
Yeah.
We were
bad.
sitting here talking about the proper way to make a cup of tea, which is one of the most, discussed things in British land. Is what goes first,
British land?
tea or the milk, and how much sugar you put in? It doesn't matter.
I
You know
blame
what?
them.
Fine.
They're asking me.
I
Okay,
was just
hold on.
troll- I was
We
just
have one more
trolling
question.
chat,
You ask
trying
a
to-
British
okay,
person
get
about
We
to
got
it.
one more question that is very important as
What
well
is it?
that always gets asked.
Is it legitimate?
Yes, this is a legitimate question because it's about Destiny. When you, let's say you have a brand new
that's
account. You have a brand new account. There's no characters. What is your first pick on making this account? Who do you start with?
Character. Hunter.
Yeah.
Easy.
Nice.
What is it?
Hunter.
What'd you
Not
say?
even a.
You said Hunter.
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 Of course, you said Hunter.
Of course, it's Hunter. What else
Yeah,
would I
'cause
choose?
He
Yeah.
likes to press the easy button. That's all right. It's cool.
Easy button with the freaking patch. Oh, come on now.
Aren't
Okay.
you a Titan?
Oh, let's go there.
A striker?
He is a
Titan?
Titan.
You
Yeah.
know where I want to go? The patch.
Yes,
Oh,
bro, man, I am with you 100%.
Yes.
let's go, bro.
Let's have it,
talk
bro,
about
man.
the patch.
Mm. Mm.
Talk to me.
Okay. So Hotfix patch came out this week, and I just want to hear, from all you guys, just base opinions, like keep it to a couple sentences. What do you think of the patch thus far in
A
PvP?
quick whip around. Okay.
Quick little whip around. We don't do those much.
How about go Watts first?
Yeah.
Primary fights are happening. I always wanted that, so I'm pretty happy.
Okay.
Nice.
Dafty?
Me?
There's no order. We're just like,
All right. So
We don't know how to do this.
I think it's a step in the right direction. I'm happy to see that there's more primary fights. That's great. I'm happy to not die from a shotgun 4 out of 5 times.
fast.
You know, because that seems like the most thing that happens consistently. However, I don't think it's enough to really liven up the Crucible from where it was before. For me personally. So
It
it's
doesn't change
mixed.
the meta. It makes the good that was good better.
Well,
and the
you
bad
already
is so
had
bad.
your turn, Miss
Hey,
Watt.
Pope Bear. Listen.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
I think it's good. I think it's still early days. I mean, it's only been 3 days, so I'm kind of waiting for things to settle a bit more. But I think it's I mean, I can't really. I mean, there are some things that are a bit like the whole special ammo seems a bit like it wasn't really all that well planned out with sidearms and stuff. But I don't know. I think it's enough of a change just to make things interesting. But I think I'd like another sandbox update with the April update. Hopefully, I mean, that'll be probably only a month or 2 away. So I mean, I think it's good for a couple of weeks, maybe a month. But I'm hoping for another change as well, and for them to unkill blade dancers would be nice too.
Want another like 25-week meta?
Cool.
How long was
You
that
go
count?
for it.
Do we
You
remember?
go for it, Brian.
I'm actually really enjoying it. I love that primaries are very much the focus right now. I think there is a bit of a problem with sidearms. They seem to just be the go-to right now, especially the exotic. I can't remember the name of it, unfortunately.
Trespasser.
That's fine.
Thank you.
Trespass and Wormwood.
But to me, it feels like a different Crucible. Instead, I was playing a little bit of Supremacy, and it's a game mode that I very much avoided before. But now, because there's so many primaries and so few shotguns, it feels like a totally different game mode, and I'm absolutely loving it.
Completely agree with that.
The,
it's a game mode that's fun.
Yeah, go ahead.
Who would
Pope.
have thought
No,
it?
it's your turn, Patrick.
All right. In regards to Supremacy, yeah, it feels like when we first played it at like the preview events, feels
Mhm.
very similar to that. And it's what I enjoyed about it. We were having a lot of primary fights because none of us had actual good special weapons. Anyway, I really enjoy that there are a hell of a lot of primary fights. I am a bit disappointed that the only way for us to apparently get good primary fights right now is to completely amputate the special ammo economy of the game.
I am enjoying Crucible again, and I'm not sure if it's because everybody is trying out different guns, and therefore I'm not seeing, the focus. I still think that hand cannons are just as powerful as they were before, which I was never in a favor of them nerfing hand cannons, but I like how they kind of gave it a little buff with the accuracy. So I like where hand cannons are. I like that I'm seeing other guns. I hope that they stay elevated. Auto rifles, I'm a little disappointed with. I feel like they had an opportunity to raise them up, and they didn't give them enough of a buff to make it relevant, because throughout the week I've been playing primarily auto rifles, and I've gone through every single one of them, and the only one that is still relevant is the Doctrine meta, the Doctrine varietal. So while I'm happy overall, I still think that they missed the mark on
Moving the meta.
on auto rifles. Yeah. And,
Yeah, I
and
think it's a good
overall
start,
moving the
but
meta. Yeah.
I'd like to see more, definitely. I'd like to see. I'm not sure. Just I mean, also I feel like it's just they've been dead since like September 2014, basically, since the Osiris got nerfed. Have they ever been good since then?
The
The
Doctrine.
Doctrine.
Doctrine
had it.
meta.
That's like one
Pretty
weapon.
But it was
isn't
literally
Like,
just the Doctrine and
Yep.
like, yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I think it's good, but I'd like to see more. But it's hard to
Let's go
say
to-
because obviously they're focusing on Destiny
Patrick,
2. So
You mentioned the special ammo. I think that's the thing that I think has been the widest rift between players who are really happy with the patch and players who are really unhappy with the patch is the special weapon economy. What specifically is your biggest issue with the special weapons?
So one thing that I always have liked about the game is whenever I want to use a special weapon in that circumstance that I need to use it, I could, because you properly space out your shots. You try to only use your special ammo when you really need to. Yeah, there's sometimes where you go primary sniper or primary shotgun, but in the ideal world, you use a shotgun when you're getting ready to go into some close quarters engagements, and then use your primary and some of the longer range sniper. We need to kill that guy that's far. Fusion rifle for when you want to stop someone from charging in. It's kind of a basic explanation, but right now we don't really have that. And any time that I want to go into an engagement and I have a special, like I think I might need special, it's, do I have special? No, I just respond. Okay, now I have to go make a trip to an ammo box. Hopefully it's going to be one up or just popped, so I can get that and then go to the engagement. It feels like my movement around the map is slowed when I'm not using a sidearm or icebreaker type weapon.
I've heard that a couple of times, is that a lot of players who are upset about the special ammo change say that it's slowing down the pace of play, where I don't really find that, because I'm just not focused on getting the ammo. Like, I'll grab it if I'm on the way by it, but for the most part, I'm happy to use my primary and go engage with my primary or a trespasser.
Yeah.
So it hasn't really reduced the pace of play for me.
Yeah, I noticed that too with shotguns.
It feels like mayhem
actually.
Constantly for me.
Yeah, mayhem. Nice.
It literally feels like mayhem.
Yeah, I have found myself. I jumped in right away. No? Yeah, there's a lot of exactly. I was going to say that. So I jumped in. I started the first match. I started using a shotgun again just because I wanted to see how it would feel losing shotgun ammo and how much of a deficit it would be in sixes. And I only played sixes this week. I haven't played any threes or anything like that. And I could basically have shotgun ammo 95% of the time. It was not that big of a deal. If I died, it was like, oh, look, if I wait 15 seconds, I can get the shotgun ammo right here. Or if I just run across the map, there's another box that's spawning.
Because the green crates spawn so
they spawn so quickly. So for me personally, I was actually surprised at how often special ammo was coming up. So it did slow things down. I did notice some games go into time a lot more often on maps that typically don't go to time. So it does actually, I did notice it was slowing down the game. But at the same time, I don't know if it's necessarily specifically special ammo and the lack of shotgun rushers, more so people in primary engagements and trying out new stuff.
It's more of, so there's the players themselves, like, they want to use special. Obviously, people want to use special, or else there wouldn't be this much of a kind of a lashback to the whole change. And so players that really want to use special are going to wait for the special. So if half your team are those types of players, that's half your team that every time they die, they might go.
Not only are they going to wait for the special, but then they're going to stand there and reload.
Exactly.
And for a
Can I give a tip?
Yeah.
If you want to use like a shotgun or a sniper, play a warlock, put on transversive steps, you pick up the ammo, you're good to go. And it's actually really good when there's people fighting for special ammo, because if you pick it up and someone's rushing at you, you can just shotgun them instantly.
True.
It's actually super fun.
Yeah.
It's actually
explain that, Watts. Why is that the way it is?
Transversive steps is a warlock exotic pants or boots. I call them pants. That allows you, it reloads your weapon when you pick up ammo of that type. So it also works if you pick up special ammo. It also reloads your primary, which I don't know if it was supposed to work like that, but it does.
Primary ammo brick will drop when you pick up special as well.
Yeah, exactly.
That way since year one.
So you can have empty shotgun. You can even have an empty primary. You pick it up, you have full everything. So I had a few situations where it was a bunch of people really wanted special ammo, and I was there with transversive steps and a shotgun, and I was able to just grab it quickly and then shotgun the guy because I didn't have to reload. So
I did that.
It allows you to get back in. It allows you to get back into the action and not like have to sit around for the ammo, wait, pick it up, reload, then go. You can just kind of pick it up and go.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the first day, I did that a lot where I had my shotgun still, and then I go to pick up ammo, be like, okay, cool, let me go run off and do some gunfights, and then someone would like try and rush me, and I'll try and put out a shotgun, I'll be like, I need to reload, and I'll just, I did that literally so many times on the first day, forgetting to reload, because obviously you're used to just having ammo, you're not used to reload, but second win comes
especially
in handy,
after a respawn.
Having a really fast reload buff for 15 seconds. Second win is pretty good if you respawn, grab some ammo, and reload super quick, but yeah, something you need to think about. Definitely need to reload and not just pick up special and then just run off because you'll
so don't to people in chat, don't worry, we're going to get to the piece where we talk about the unintended consequences of
yeah.
Right now we're just talking
special.
Right now we're just talking about special.
I absolutely love the special ammo change.
Okay.
To me, it has opened up the game to primary gunfights in a huge way. It's made the game feel very different and feel fresh to me, because it's not just about running around with a shotgun. It's not about last year just sitting in the back with a sniper rifle. There are primaries in play. The Hawk Moon is back, sort of. PDX, Hawksaw, Hopscotch Pilgrim. Like, there's a bunch of guns that I just haven't played with in a long time that are now really fun to use in the Crucible and very viable. Very, like, I feel like I have a fighting chance with these weapons because I'm not just worried about fighting off shotgun rushers all the time. So I love the change. Like, I absolutely adore it.
I like the change too, and I like the fact that close range engagements, I don't have to be like, oh, I can't go into this hallway or this room or this specific area because I'm just gonna get shotgunned. I like having that feeling of I could just go into any engagement I want. Most likely we were both going to have a primary or we'll both have a sidearm or whatever. And I don't have to worry about instantly just going around a corner, boop, I'm dead from a shotgun. So I do really like that. And I like that there's more primary fights because that's something that I've wanted for a really long time. I find them much more interesting of engagements than just shotguns all the time. So I'm happy with it. I know where Patrick's coming from, where it's like it's kind of like a Band-Aid where we don't know how to balance special ammo, so we're just going to take it away from you. I completely get your.
I'm very happy about the amount of primary gunfights I'm having. I mean, I've spent, basically 2.5 years using mostly a primary weapon, and I feel like I'm being rewarded for practicing so much. But I'm still not happy that it just felt like it was kind of a nuclear option of, well, if we can't get the actual weapons to balance themselves out with all the changes, fuck it, we'll just remove part of the equation.
The problem that I've always seen with that is that how do you balance a gun that's supposed to be more powerful than a primary weapon? It's like trying to balance the sniper rifle in Halo with the rest of the guns. It's not going to work. It's so much more powerful. That's why it only spawns occasionally.
Well, the thing with like the nuclear option of completely removing special ammo in the way that is done, I still feel like special ammo, you don't have to take away all of it. Just leave us with...
They didn't take away all of it.
I know, just take away all of it when you die. They don't have to take away all of it. Just, maybe 80%, 75, 80% of it when you die. So you'll still have 1 or 2 shots, but you're not going to be able to worry. You will eventually have to make a trip to a special ammo. Primaries would still be a huge part of the equation. That's just my personal preference on it because I like having the option of a special weapon when you need to use it in a special circumstance.
Well, I think that the current meta is something with these primary gunfights, and the reason why I agree with Watts and you, Breyer, about the special ammo change being nearly spot on is that it pairs up well with the ability kills that you get from your class. I think that when you're engaged in a 1-on-1 or a 2-on-1 fight, and you have your grenades, or you hold off on it. Rather, you use it as part of the strategy when you're engaged in that fight. You pop out, you see somebody, you put a couple shots into them, or you try that, and then you bounce a grenade off, or you throw your melee if you're a hunter, or I just feel like the abilities have become part of that dance instead of just switching to my shotgun and running at them when my health is low, or crouching and waiting for them.
They were definitely a part of the dance before. It feels like they are way more of a part now. Like,
that's what I'm saying is that they're now like in a concert together. They're like in a dance together when you are in that engagement, and that's why I think that that those engagements have become more interesting. I agree with you.
I think it's a step in the right direction. Like I think overall it's good. The problem is now everybody's using these sidearms. And I don't think that's necessarily a good solution to it. Be like, okay, now suddenly everyone's Wormwoods and Trespassers. Because I don't, in a couple weeks, if it's still that, everybody's going to be like, oh my God, I'm sick of seeing Wormwood constantly.
I can tell you, I'm already pretty sick of it. Also, because
already
sidearms,
exactly.
Yeah, sidearms get to keep all their ammo that they pick up.
You get to keep you pick up your ammo, and then you get to keep it upon death as well. So even if you're out of ammo, you'll still have it. And then if you pick up some in that life and then die, you still have a bigger reserve. So
that
just
I feel like is an oversight that needs to be fixed.
It is an oversight.
Yeah, that definitely needs to be fixed. Because that's kind of what made Trespasser balanced, was that like you could go on these crazy killing sprees with Trespasser because of the perk of when you kill someone, but you'd run out of ammo really fast.
Yeah.
Right.
But now that you get to hold on to this huge reserve, it's like, oh, hey, I get to run around and RoboCop everyone.
It's a bit broken. They need to fix that. They need to look at that. I think what they did to Universal Remote made sense, and I'm not like, I don't think that's a problem.
Confused by that.
What's that? You were confused by it?
I was very confused by like Universal Remote. I thought that was just murdered with Rise of Iron, and then they nerfed the mag. I don't think I'd have ever been killed by that in the last couple months. Maybe it's just me, but
well, it's because the special
ammo
ammo economy was getting adjusted, so they had to adjust that as well. Because five shots with like a decent reload, and it's a primary, a lot of people would switch to that.
Yeah, it's a good point. I guess it was kind of a preemptive thing before it gets out of hand. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But what's happened now is that suddenly it's tons of sidearms. I don't know if you guys saw that graph, like the sidearm thing just skyrocketed.
The shotguns are just swapped.
Well,
yeah.
They need to fix the fact that you keep so much of that ammo. I think you should. I would keep the perk in sidearms that you always respawn with ammo. But you should lose the ammo that you picked up, that extra reserve
That's
ammo.
how
The
I
reason
feel as well.
we're not getting it right now is that there is simply no way for them to track it. Apparently, for them to like remove the ammo and then
have like a base ammo. You know.
Yeah. Well, there's no way for them to do it right now, so I doubt that we'd see some sort of significant change in any update, because it would require quite a.
I was hoping that they would bring that up in the
buff.
TWAB, Patrick. I was hoping that they would mention that, because that seems to be the issue. There's a couple main issues that have been rising to the surface. One is the Blade Dancer issue and the fallout from that. The second seems to be how the special economy is broken a little bit by allowing one particular type of weapon to have so much of it. It is really a lot of sidearms, and it's a lot.
Yeah,
well, it's the weapon that makes the most sense, especially the Trespasser.
Yeah, I mean, I'm using it. I have some ridiculously good rolls for sidearms, and then the Trespasser is freaking dumb. It's awesome. I mean, I love it, but it's gonna get, like you guys are saying, it's gonna get old like super quick. So I was hoping that they would mention that's something that they recognize. Or
one thing that I really hope, I'm just gonna say this right off the bat. I really hope that in the future, if we see adjustments to sidearms, it's not to the actual like shooting them. No adjustments to range, damage, anything like that in PvP or PvE. The only thing that needs to be changed, is the ammo economy. That's the only thing that needs to be changed. I swear to God, if we see something like, oh, we feel like they're doing a little bit too much damage at range. Well, that's because everything else, you've nerfed everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, no more nerfing, please.
Yeah,
because
no
they're
nerfing.
slowly getting better. They started off really bad, and they were just slowly, every patch they just got a bit better. Now they're at the point where they're decent. So yeah, I don't know. I don't honestly. I cannot think of a single solution, because you can't really take away. If you take away all the ammo, would anyone really use a side? I guess it'd be between sidearms and snipers. Maybe.
It started off with like a mag or two mags, though. I think it would serve its function as being like a backup to your primary, right? You never
run out of sidearm ammo. I have not run out of one game where I've run out of sidearm ammo.
I've run out with the Trespasser.
Oh, I definitely have.
Yeah,
using the Trespasser. For me, I mean,
I've run out. I've run out with
okay,
one.
well, you guys are better than me. I'm a casual player. I'm a 1.0 to 1.5. I die, I'm going to run out of ammo.
But how much ammo do you get right now? Is it like 2 or 3 mags?
It depends on your ammo stats for sidearms especially. You can hold like it generally between like a mag and a half to 2.5 mags,
right?
Like per sidearm.
You better hope you
didn't
dismantle
kind of
the arm with sidearm ammo. If I saw anything with sidearm ammo, it would just get instant dismantle.
Oh yeah, same.
I saved it all.
I know, right?
I saved all of it.
And also rifles as well.
I have everything.
If you get every death that you have, you should get like, your first death, you get all your special ammo back. Your second death, you get 3/4 of it back. The third, you get half. and a quarter.
With
and then,
sidearms in particular, why don't they just have like
or,
a base
or
ammo
all
range
of
of like
them.
14
Right.
rounds?
The more you die, the
when you
more
respawn,
don't
you
know.
always spawn in with 14 rounds.
Yeah, but Pat
you know?
said they actually are having a problem keeping track of that.
Yeah, they currently have no way to keep track of it in the game. So we saw how long it took them to add in just like range fall off damage for classes, right?
Yeah.
It took like a solid year. I don't.
Well, they got
foresee
what
them
35
going
weeks before the next balance patch. So
back. I have no
Before
idea.
Destiny 2?
With the amount of people that they probably have working on it, that's probably a pretty tall order to implement a new sandbox change to track something like that. So I just don't see it happening.
It's not going to bother me like shotguns bothered me. So I'm not really that worried about it. Even in the future, when everybody's running around with a trespasser, the thing still has range. It doesn't kill that much faster than a primary at close range. Like, it's not going to bug me.
Yeah, I think I'd
It's not
rather
gonna
get
bug me,
worried
like-
by a wormwood than a matador. To be honest. I
Agreed.
mean, it may be
At
bad,
least they
but I
have to
think we
aim
can all
it for
agree.
longer.
Yep.
Yeah, at least you can't. I mean, you can keep your distance. It's kind of similar to shotguns. You can keep your distance because sidearms are awful at long range. That you're not going to hit a thing. So if you it's kind of similar to shotguns. You need to back up. But I think sidearms may be bad, but I think we can all agree it's definitely a lot better than being matadored. 24/7.
Agreed.
So,
Definitely.
Matadors were the bane of
Instant death.
Crucible. Yeah, and it became a point where, but I think that that's the consequence of there not being a balance patch for so long. Now, if we don't have another balance patch, I think that something else is going to be called the Matador.
It's
The
going to be
Wormwood?
called the Wormwood.
Wormwood, yeah.
The Wormwood
Well, yeah.
will be called the Matador. The vendor Wormwood right now is
Shh, don't tell them where to get it.
It's called you buy from the vendor, you use either high cal or quick draw, it doesn't matter. Use the increased range perk on it, and then spam trigger. Because let me tell you, the aim assist on that thing is kind of nutty.
I've gotten some pretty ridiculous distance kills with that.
I've just gotten some pretty crazy ones where I'm just like,
it's a mini fast
oh.
Yeah.
The roll that I have on mine is all range perks. Like literally the whole thing is all range perks. So
Yeah, I got range
I've
finder
got
on
all
mine.
Stuff right there.
I've got like a high cal stability and let me check what it is. It's high cal stability and I think
Hidden
in
hand.
hand maybe.
That's the vendor roll.
Or actually no, I know it's not a vendor roll. Actually, it is rangefinder. Rangefinder fit stock. High cal.
yeah, I have
and
rangefinder on mine too.
true sight as
Yeah.
well, so
Yeah, I've been able to hit like some crits from a surprising distance and kill people. Been like, I can't believe that killed in that distance.
Yep. That's Sidearm's story. They have a very, very good aim assist, very good equip speed. So I foresee that in the coming weeks, if people don't, feel like adapting too much, start using sidearms, there's going to be a lot of people complaining more than now.
I think so.
As an ex-Call of Duty player too, it's right at home. Like running out of ammo in your primary and whipping out your sidearm and just finishing a guy off. Like it fits. It feels like home.
but then the later ones where you could swap out your sidearms and no one ever used it
The
anymore.
pistols were better than
Yeah.
Nice.
I think sidearms feel a bit. Are they hit scan now? Were they fixed to be hit scan, or are they still?
Yeah, they're all basically all of them except Dreg's Promise and
The
Gold
best
one,
Bastion.
the first
Gold Bastion
one.
Dynasty.
Bastion,
I can't.
Bastion Dynasty.
I can't remember if the new Queen's Choice one is or not.
Mhm.
But yeah,
They still feel
they're
a
all-
little bit like I've noticed a lot of very strange trades with sidearms and the connection or the net code or like the way it works. It just seems a bit strange with
Net code.
sidearms. I seem to get a lot of trade kills and a lot of like someone will die and then I'll also kill them with sidearm. Like very kind of delayed kills with sidearms.
It's generally because of the rate of fire of them. Like everyone,
Yeah,
they're
they
all
seem very
fairly fast
strange.
rate of fire. So if both
They're very
players
weird,
are
but-
shooting it,
That actually brings up a question that I have for you guys. How have the connections been? Because I went in thinking that okay, there's probably going to be a boost to the population, so most likely less red bars and rainbow connections and all that. Every single game I've played, with the exception of one, which was with I got a new team of followers and subs, and we ended up going against Triple and Corn Pops and Deuce and Benny Schmurda. We absolutely
Let
got
me guess,
murdered.
the connection was terrible in that
The
one.
connection was perfect. It was amazing. It was a phenomenal connection, and we had to go up against those guys. And every other game, it was at least one person red bar. Somebody was teleporting.
When I was playing solo, my connection was decent. I think I had one game where it was just like, oh wow, everyone's lagging. But when I was playing with like 2 or 3 people, there were just it was awful for the most part.
Yep. Overall connections have been a little bit disappointing. I do, Tefty. I thought, oh man, there's going to be a bunch of people playing the new patch. Still having a ton of games, regardless of playlist. Start without
4v4s.
Everyone there. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of 4v4s.
There's been a ton of 4v4s.
The entire game is just
a lot of Puerto Rico and Brazil that I'm getting matched against for some reason. Like, nothing against those players, just I don't understand why every time I get matched against you guys, it's not gonna be a good situation for either of us. Have any of you guys used Guardian Theater? If you're on Xbox, you probably have, but most recently,
no.
Yeah, I started just checking it periodically, and all the past few times I've checked it, anytime I'm like someone else is streaming, they've always been like speaking Portuguese. Or something like that. So I'm just like, man, why? It's like a thing. Apparently, the Tennessee host just gets matched against people in Brazil consistently. It's weird.
It's really weird. It frustrates me because when we have something like this, I'm enjoying the discovery of how weapons feel, even though ultimately it's coming back to hand cannons. But the process is fun. The process. You use these different things and all that. And every single game, it was tough to decide between whether or not there was just the milliseconds of peer-to-peer problems that are being introduced. And if this game didn't have those peer-to-peer problems, if it didn't have the netcode issues that we have right now, I would be okay with the things that are problematic with balance in Destiny. I would be okay with it because it would still be fun at the end of the day to have these weird trades or whatever, just because the netcode is going to be okay. But it's not, and it creates, it just creates a bunch of problems. It doesn't, like somebody new coming to the game, they see that and then has these weird melee trades, or like you're saying, like getting a post-mortem with a sidearm. It doesn't leave a good taste. Doesn't leave a good taste for a new player.
True.
Hopefully Destiny 2. I don't think we're going to see any changes in Destiny to the netcode, but in Destiny 2 we can hope for sure.
Not this Destiny 2 for sure.
I feel like we might see one more sandbox update either.
You think so?
I mean they did say about Scories, didn't they? So I think they'll probably do another probably on a similar size, just kind of, because this sandbox wasn't really that. It was quite a small sandbox.
It was quite small
in comparison.
Yeah,
like
had a big impact for how many small changes they made, though.
Yeah, and obviously because
with
the lack of content, it was blown up because it was kind of the only new thing. Everyone was like kind of noticing the change, but. I mean, they already mentioned Scories, so I guess it's on the way, but I think we'll get one more. I hope we get one more with the April update or the spring live team thing. But yeah, what they'll do, I have no idea. I don't even know how to, I don't even have any suggestions on how to fix stuff, because it's just a mess of other problems and things that contradict each other. So I know it's complicated.
A lot of stuff did get kind of messed up when they nerfed.
Yeah, those need some pop.
Transfusion for the Striker Titan, Cauterize for the Sunbreaker Titan Lifesteal.
It's easier to name what did.
Furos. No backup plans. Word of Dawn, the Ram, Apotheosis Veil, Embrace the Void. All of those things are somewhat broken, if not completely broken.
They're just straight up broken. They'll either like only regen your health, not your shield, or they'll give you a block of health. All these things are breaking because they decided that Blade Dancer needed to be changed.
Crazy OP is just needed to be turned down.
I normally take the devil's advocate.
Have you ever watched
approach
Crafty
on
play?
this?
I mean, let's be fair.
Yeah, no, it's not like he switched to Voidwalker because he was so dissatisfied with Blade Dancer already in its current state. No, it's not.
Yeah, I was a main Blade Dancer as well. For the entire of year 3, I was a main Blade Dancer. I used to be in year 1. I was a gunslinger. In year 2, a Night Stalker. Year 3, just entirely Blade Dancer. But it was just like the kind of redeeming factor was skip grenades. As annoying as they are, they're kind of one of the most powerful things of the subclass. It's kind of like every subclass has their trade-offs between melees, grenades, and supers. But with the Blade Dancers, supers, it's okay. I mean, in a one-on-one, you're going to win when it comes to team modes. It's not looking good. But the skip grenades are very good. But the super was pretty bad. Quick draw was very nice as well. Melee was decent, but it just, I mean, if you compare roaming supers, compare Stormcaller to Blade Dancer, it is just not even close. So the fact that they nerfed Blade Dancer, I can't understand. But yeah,
it didn't touch
Storm.
Storm.
It has to be some data from like the lobbies we are not playing in, where it was just like Blade Dancers were so incredibly prevalent. They were probably like the highest KD in that group or whatever. It has to come from that. It has to come from something. What I did notice with Blade is if you are in a 6v6 game mode and you go into a group of people now, the Hungering Blade change is actually pretty good for that, because usually you would hit them and then it would start health regen, whereas now you instantly get a chunk of health. So if a bunch of people are shooting you in a group and you manage to kill some people, you get short-stopped a lot more often. But in 3v3, it's going to be really not good. It's dead in 3v3 completely. 6v6, it's not too bad. And in those situations where it's a bunch of grouped up people, it can be really good. But yeah, 3v3, which is what I think most people are most excited to play now. Trials is a thing that kind of keeps Destiny on its feet for the most part. It's not going to be good.
Why do you think they nerfed Quick Draw? It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know.
And also on Affinity aspects also. They're like, oh man, we really hate this.
I think I understand why they did it. I think it's because
are tied together, and that's why they did it.
Well, okay, yeah, that. Also because
it has to be, right? Yeah.
Also because the Warlock exotic of Fidium aspects was like, you use this no matter what. No matter you're a Stormcaller, Voidwalker, Sunsinger, you use it because it's the best thing ever. They convinced me to use
Warlock. It was so good.
And any time that there's something in the game where it's like, that is the only option that makes sense, then they're going to try and take it away and try and make other options more valuable. A lot of people were using Blade Dancer just because of Quick Draw. So they wanted to try and make things more usable, but at the same time, it's like, then you need to change Blade Dancer in general and make other things more powerful rather than like, we're just going to nerf Quick Draw. It's like, well, then buff the other stuff to make us choose it.
Random. There goes the neutral game on that.
I don't like nerfing. Weird. I want buffing. I don't want nerfing. Stop it.
I always thought if they were going to nerf, something I always said is if they were going to nerf these skip grenades, which I saw was coming. I think skip grenades definitely were a bit too powerful. I don't know. I mean, no one really uses Blade Dancers in the Euro these days, but I think, skip grenades definitely need a nerf, but I always thought they need to buff Blade Dance. Just, in my opinion, just go overboard. Make it last longer, more health, more damage as well. I don't understand how the Blade Dancer swipe does significantly less damage than a hammer, which you can throw, by the way. So you can throw a hammer from range, which does colossal damage, whereas my Blade Dance, I have to get up close to you to Blade Dance you, and it's not going to kill you. So the matter of Sunbreakers, like Sunbreaker versus Blade Dancer, you're never going to win. So I don't really understand how a Blade Dancer you have to get up close and personal, and if you do, you have to hit him twice, whereas Hammer can just hit you once, and he can throw it. So it's just like comparing Blade Dancer to other roaming supers just never ends up well. Yeah. One thing I did see that one point that was raised that does make a lot of sense is that it's kind of fitting to nerf the Blade Dancer, seeing as there's a lack of special ammo, so you can't shotgun counter a Blade Dancer. But then what about Stormcallers? Like how you supposed to counter?
That's the thing, right?
Yeah, they don't regen health, but they're Stormcallers are, I think, the most powerful. Well, between that and Golden Gun, they're just the middle. They're very, 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 very difficult to counter. So, like, with no special ammo, how are you supposed to kill a Stormcaller? I'm not saying you should buff Stormcaller. I'm not saying you should nerf Stormcaller. I'm saying you should buff Blade Dancer because they're super. They're supposed to feel super, but they just don't really feel.
Yeah, and also Blink was clearly overpowered. So I'm really happy. Okay, I'm really happy that they got rid of the radar. Because good lord, how many times was
no one even used Blink anymore.
I know, right?
No one used Blink.
It made no sense.
Everyone stopped using Blink.
we need Cosmo. He's a Blade Dancer. We need Cosmo to be.
Yeah, we should.
Someone to stick up. I mean, you got Blink. You've got Quick Draw. You've got the Super. You've got.
They nerfed Shinobis also, or Shinobus.
You've got 4 nerfs to one. The Blade Dancer caught 4 nerfs in terms of.
Hey, they did get buffed. Their sticky grenade will finally kill a maximum player. It only took 2.5 years.
That's right.
I think that's the opposite of what should have happened, to be honest.
It's really weird. It's like they looked at the neutral game of Blade Dancer and were like, let's end this. No more. I'm sorry. Quick Draw, Blink, all this. It's like, okay, whatever.
Who's the Blade Dancer? Hey, I don't understand.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying that Josh Hamrick, the guy on the stream that said, oh, yeah, no, I find it difficult to fight against this, so that's why we're nerfing it. It's called sarcasm. He probably genuinely didn't mean that after seeing him for a while, seeing how he talks. That's a joke. probably didn't genuinely believe. I'm not going to speak for him, but I'm pretty sure that's what we call a joke.
Yeah.
Unfortunate that he did say it that way, though, because now
You can't
everyone
joke with this.
you
community.
can't joke like that. You really can't when you're nerfing people's subclasses.
I think they should just undo the regen nerf. I mean, I think it's a sign. The fact that everything else is broken, I think it's a sign that maybe Blade Dancer wasn't supposed to be nerfed. Maybe let them have that one thing. So just undo all the regen nerf, have that back together, and have no one's going to be complaining about Blade Dancer. I guarantee you that no one is ever going to be complaining.
A little bit more confused as, okay, so we know, so they knew that this patch was going to come out with that in it, and how it was going to just, for lack of a better term, royally fuck up a lot of stuff.
They knew 2 days beforehand.
Right. Okay.
They discovered it 2 days before and decided to keep on pushing it because they announced that the patch was coming instead of piss off the community.
I understand why they did it.
Yeah, I understand why they pushed it out.
If it was my decision, I would have made the same decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
God,
Can't you just undo the regen nerf? That's probably a lot more complicated than that. But
Yeah, you don't just hit.
That would be the smart
flick
move.
it off. Isn't there a button? Isn't that how it works?
Isn't there
a button?
It's like a value in any file that they're just like
unnerf.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna backseat game development here, backseat Q&A, but I'm genuinely genuinely confused how that in all the playtesting that probably went through this, how the hell did that not get?
That was
how
my
the hell
thought
did that
too.
not get caught?
That was my thought
I don't
too.
think they have enough playtesters, to be perfectly honest. It's not that the playtesters are bad, but I think they definitely need more.
Maybe they don't have enough
dancers.
like for the live team or
they need
something.
more blade dancers.
They're all blade
You know
dancers.
where they
That was the
are.
problem.
You
Because
know where
every
the-
playtester was a blade dancer, they couldn't tell. No one was using a warlock.
They were like, let's just
or-
keep testing blade dancer to make
Yeah.
sure that
You know,
this is
nobody was
okay.
using the Suros
or the Red Death. Red Death is
or the
broken.
Red Death.
Yeah,
Like
all those perks.
that needs all the help it can get. But now it's just the and the Suros. Yeah, one of the main kind of one of the flagship weapons that should be good in this patch is not as because the half is like perk is to regen your health and it doesn't do that at all. So
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if I was in the hot seat and I was like, hey, we need to, the patch needs to go out, but where this bug? It's like, yeah, the patch go out, but still, I'd be asking how the hell we didn't catch that. Seriously, like how the hell was that?
Well, that's
not-
internal
let me tell
Bungie
you.
stuff. We would
I
have
know,
no idea where they
I
were.
know, but still, like that is.
I'm pretty
that's a
sure I know what's up.
huge- Ugh.
They are.
Okay, what's
it's
up then?
because 99.5% of the development team is purely focused on Destiny 2. And just like Watt said, there's probably like 2 or 3 playtesters to go through this stuff. And they probably have to juggle dual duty as well with some other stuff they're doing for Destiny 2 as well to maybe test things for Destiny 2 at the same time, because they're dedicated towards bringing us a great release come hopefully September for a game that we're going to be very excited about. So they can't, at least I don't think they're going to be able to put the resources towards actually testing this stuff the way we want to, because they're very excited about what they're going to bring us with Destiny 2. And then all this is going to be forgotten about because we're going to be like, oh my God, Destiny 2.
yeah,
You know?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I mean, if you're Bungie and you are employing, say, 50 testers, why would you want to put like half or all of them onto Destiny 1, a 2.5-year-old game where you can put them onto Destiny 2? I'm sure Destiny 2 Crucible is probably a state right now. They're probably trying to figure out how to balance that. So
Yeah, exactly.
they're probably thinking, before the community gets crazy
Maybe-
about Destiny 2 and all these other exotics that are in that game, let's
You better get that shit right too.
yeah.
Maybe-
You know what?
Whereas
Maybe
we're always
Blade
complaining
Dancers-
about sidearms and like this
Well-
and Suros and regen. They're probably like, you guys just you have no idea what's ahead of you. Just let's be glad that Destiny 2 is around the corner. You don't have to deal with this for very long. So I think most of them are definitely on Destiny 2.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, Destiny 1, we've got to go back and fix
You
that
bring up a
game.
really good point too. Think about if you are on the playtest team and you do potentially have to do double duty on like Destiny 2 and this game at the moment. Think about all the other stuff that they have to think about for Destiny 2 in those
Yeah,
loot
it's
pools.
pretty crazy right now.
Yeah, exactly. There's like a whole code
I
base.
bet the whole team is doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Like and all the different perks that we don't even know about that they're also testing for that stuff. Yeah. So things could definitely slip through the cracks. Not that I want to say, oh, hey, it's okay, Bungie. You'll get it next time. I don't want to say that, but at the same time, we do need to keep in mind that they're working on another game.
Yeah.
What's your favorite weapon that you've been using primary wise that has been basically relegated to the vault up till this patch?
Wormwood.
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 Primary weapon though.
Wormwood.
Primary weapon, isn't it? I mean,
Feels like a
everyone's using
primary.
I've actually returned to my old year 1 loadout of Devil You Know and Icebreaker.
I remember that loadout.
Yeah, that was a
I
very
remember
fun
it.
loadout for me. And, you know, it's really the reason I could use that was hand cannons across the board in year 1. You know, it didn't really matter. But the hand cannons were pretty good. So you could just, you could use them. And my Devil You Know.
Range, too, on those things.
Yeah, unlimited range. But now they don't have unlimited range, but they have very good consistency across the board for the most part. So pace your shots properly. Bloom is still in effect, but you're going to be rewarded for the shots that you should definitely land.
Hand cannons feel great right now.
Yeah,
like
they
they just
do.
when I aim it and I feel like that sight is on an enemy, it hits. That's how I
They're
feel.
generous.
And that's how it should have been. It's like it's so not rewarding of a player experience to have players shoot and aim something and it not hit. Like that's not rewarding whatsoever. It's definitely much better to be like, okay, well we're gonna reel their range in, have them be good in this specific range and not
Have you
super
ever
long
played
range.
like an RPG that like it takes like Fallout was a good example where there was like RNG in your bullets.
Yeah.
Hate it.
And it's like, well, this can never really be a shooter because there's RNG in my bullets. It's never going to feel good. It's never going to feel like a good shooter. It's always going to be mostly an RPG. And that's where that bloom mechanic kind of put me with hand cannons. This doesn't feel good. This isn't what you should be adding to a shooter.
No.
This is a shooter.
Yeah, you need it. You need the very basic mechanics to feel good when you're shooting it. And if you have RNG in your bullets, it doesn't feel good. So I'm very happy with hand cannons right now.
Yeah, Hawk Moon is fun to use again. I'd still
fun.
say it's not amazing like it used to be, but
You
it's
do some stability in range.
yeah,
A little bit of stability in range.
You can get those 2 taps, which is really fun.
yeah, that is fun. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I brought.
I like
Use a
spare
weapon
change a
that
lot
has-
as well.
Yeah, I've been using that
Nice.
a lot. I've got a God Roll one with basically max stability and Feeding Frenzy, and definitely not a close range weapon. If people are rushing with Wormwoods, you're not going to have a fun time. But for long range maps, it is 2 burst melts, sure.
Any other weapons that are kind of new favorites in the new patch?
It's not really
I'm enjoying the heavy, the low fire rate pulse rifles.
Like the spare change?
Yeah, messenger,
Nice.
spare change.
I
but
wish
that,
I don't know why I dismantled my messenger. For some
Vault
reason I
space.
did.
You were just
Yeah.
like, don't have
That,
space.
that's why.
it is great at range, and on
That's not
open
too
maps, it tends to be a really good team support weapon. Just one burst in a person's shield, and a portion of their health is off. It's pretty nice.
Got a really nice Hopscotch Pilgrim that nothing about this patch says that Hopscotch should be as good as it is, but god damn, it's melting people.
The lack of clever dragons.
Nice.
What's that?
It's the lack of
It's
competition.
the lack of clever
So
dragons for sure, and the lack of range on hand cannons. I win a lot of battles against hand cannons because I'm far away from them.
But that archetype is the Hawksaw archetype is like the new best, isn't it? Isn't the highest rated
Very
by like
good.
a DPS like
It's-
the Hawksaw
they're
does
so
more damage in a quicker time?
The
Is that right?
Hawksaw will basically win out if you're hitting more body shots. The Clever Dragon will still, like, if you're landing the fastest rate of fire pulses will still win out if you're hitting your precision shots. But let's be real here. You don't do that. No one's that consistent. So Hawksaw kind of wins out because of the higher body shot damage.
And they have a
I
magazine
got a
size of 1
PDX 45 too that it's that vendor roll from way back in year 2 that had like max stability and full auto on it. It's just such an easy gun to use, and I haven't used it at all since the Clever Dragon came around. It's nice to pull that out of the vault.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with Pope Bear though. I'm disappointed with auto rifles. Not really feeling the auto
Yeah.
rifles.
Yep.
Yeah, I
My
tried the
answering
Ceres, it
cord
was
was
just-
good,
yeah.
and it's still good. So, if you get my answering cord, you'll be happy.
I'm sure there's there's some small examples of it that are decent. There's some god rolls out there. I've held on to about a half dozen what I consider god rolls for each auto rifle, and I went back through them. I spent a whole day playing just auto rifles, and I was, like I said, I was just not excited about the whole class itself. I mean, you can find a couple examples where you're going to be shooting a good gun, but as far as advice for the community, if gun auto rifles are back, they're not.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
They seem to have the same range as hand cannons.
Yep,
And hand
they
cannons
live in
better.
the same space.
Exactly. That's basically what I found.
That's a
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, basically, if you go up against somebody who's using who's good with a hand cannon, you're most likely going to lose your fights. You know?
It's you're more likely to an auto rifle versus hand cannon battle is not like the auto rifle will win if the hand cannon player messes up.
Yep.
That's the determining factor is actually the hand cannon player.
Yeah, I've noticed the most difficult thing to come up against is definitely the hand cannons. Like they seem to give you. I feel the palindromes probably not, but I feel like palindromes just have built-in high caliber rounds. They seem to just mess up your aim.
Right?
They really just, and maybe it's just the players using them are really good. They typically tend to be better, but palindromes seem to, especially with auto rifles, because you have to aim them so straight.
Mhm.
When you get hit by these massive hand cannon bullets, they tend to just jog your aim all over the place.
Yeah, exactly.
I've also lost the ability to properly use an auto rifle somehow.
Yeah, everyone's forgotten.
When I start firing it, I seem to always be aimed at somebody's chest and can't keep that thing centered on their head anymore like I used to be able to.
And I was destroying people with the Kvostov. Like it was.
Oh yeah,
Really?
How do you have it set up?
Max rate of fire, max stability. Just
like a Doctrine. Is it
with,
better than Doctrine in that role?
no, Doctrine, the old Doctrine, I still feel is a little bit better. But Kvostov just sounds so freaking sweet.
It is cool.
That's all I really care
Use
about.
the OG scope or the new one?
I use the new one because that gives you better range technically.
Right. Yeah.
Scope
zoomed in,
zoom.
isn't it?
Scope zoom affects your damage fall off more than the actual range stat. So go for higher zoom. And
Don't get a crack lens for life.
Okay, crack lens for life. Have fun. Zoom. It's doing really well. It's doing really well. Just it's very easy to control. I had a couple 30+ kill games, just basically only using Kvostov.
Nice.
So
Nice.
yeah. The one thing that I'm really happy about this patch though is that I'm able to just use a lot of different loadouts. I was basically the old patch. I was forced into using like first curse sniper as my loadout because quick draw and sniping yada yada. Like I was forced into very specific loadouts and couldn't really vary my primary usage or secondary usage that much if I wanted to specifically snipe. Now I can use basically whatever I want. Primaries doesn't matter. Like I was using Doom of Chelchis, the King's Fall Scout. I love that thing. I absolutely love that thing, and I was winning matches because it's just
the variety is cool to see. I think it's one of my favorite. Like I absolutely love whenever there's new content. I loved how just people just don't know. I love a phase where people don't know everything about the game and everyone's kind of guessing. There isn't like a use this gun or else you will get destroyed. Like going onto Destiny when the patch launched was just. It was cool because no one knew. Like, I saw just the most crazy variety of random weapons I've ever seen in my like a hopscotch pilgrim and I can't even remember. Just really weird weapons. Like people are using like you see the kill feed. It's like auto rifle, pulse rifle, hand cannon, scouts. And it's not many scouts.
So nice.
Scouts are probably even though they're still very good in the right roles. Scouts are definitely taking the backseat right now because people are trying to try out auto rifles and pulses and hand cannons are probably still the best right now. But yeah, you see just crazy variety. And I spent pretty much the whole day of my like several hour play session just each game trying out a different weapon based on the map. So I'll just try out like a Grim Citizen, a Shadow Price, a Blind Pigeon. They're just so you basically just pick a weapon, let's see which one sticks really. I feel like hand cannons for me personally was the one that stuck the most. Like my God Roll hand cannons just felt amazing, and Hawk Moon, Aesuna Palindrome, very, very good.
Yeah, the time to kill on hand cannons are just you can't beat them, and that's the thing. If you're good with hand cannons,
they feel so good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Using the Water Star actually, that's been pretty fun.
Is that the year 2?
Yeah, it's the old year 2 trials.
Yeah.
Hand cannon.
Is that the low impact one?
It's a higher rate of it's the higher rate of fire, but because you can actually like kind of spam shots now, it kind of works. It's
Is it
not
better
like
than the Exile Student.
I think so because it has more stability, right? Like it has more base stability.
Yeah.
So it ends up being a bit better. It's been fun though.
Yeah.
We'll see if we. So next week I'm going to be getting like Ramblin', True Vanguard, and Ninja with Noel together for like a little mini discussion. And what I'm going to do is like, so we will have had 2 weeks to play the patch, 2 weeks of trials, 2 weeks of normal PvP play, and we're going to get together and we're going to discuss how our opinions on the changes, anything else that's relevant. And then what I'm going to try to do is then get us back together like 2 months later. Someone get disconnected?
Yeah, Briar did.
Yes, Brian did.
Okay. I want us to get back together like 2 months later and then discuss how we feel about the patch currently.
I like it.
And more importantly, I also want to discuss, like, you know how they gave us the 5 goals of
Yes.
they gave us the 5 goals of what they were really wanting to achieve. We're gonna discuss if the changes actually met those goals.
Nice.
There's alternatives to the shotguns. Definitely, you can check
Yeah,
that one.
yeah.
Out.
They have done.
Alternatives.
They have changed special
Yes.
ammo. That's
Yep.
happened.
They've
That's
done that
true.
too.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
they're
one of the
vague
things
enough that they're all going to be accomplished. Basically.
it's vague, but I don't know. I got some criticisms. I got some pretty big criticisms.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully, in 2 months' time, you'll be too busy talking about Destiny 2 to be worrying about.
Yeah,
sidearms.
hopefully.
Exactly.
Hopefully,
Yes.
hopefully, the current state of Crucible won't be the number one priority, and hopefully, we'll all be busy thinking about Destiny 2 and reveal trailers and stuff.
Well, honestly, I think it's going to be. Oh, I know, right? If Briar can't make it back, I honestly think it's going to be the April update, and I don't think they're going to talk about Destiny 2 until E3, because if the April update comes, they're going to probably have loot packages, and if you want to buy loot packages, you don't want to think about how there's another game coming. So I don't think they're going to talk about Destiny 2 until after the April update, and then it's going to be at E3. So
my personal guess, I feel like they're going to reveal Destiny 2, I don't know, within the next month. Like, again, like it's definitely a good point that the second they announce Destiny 2, all Destiny 1 hype is going to go, and no one's going to, like you said, spend money on silver if the game's going to be gone in 7-8 months.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that whenever they announce Destiny 2, they're also going to have to be very specific with your characters will transfer over, and so will all the stuff that you purchased in Eververse. Like,
silver.
Yeah,
Emotes,
like if
yeah.
they do that, then everyone, like, it'll be fine. But if they suddenly are if they don't say anything about that, yeah, sales will plummet of silver.
Yeah.
The economy will crash.
yeah,
I just feel like E3 is way too late to announce like a AAA game. Like, I've heard people say Fallout was announced like 3 or 4 months before, but I just think for a AAA game with Activision, it's just not their style to have E3 and then like 3 or 4 months. Like, you do that for Rise of Iron or an expansion, but a AAA game that's been long awaited for 3 years, I feel like it's just way too short of a hype train. I think they need to get that. I need to get pre-orders up. Like, it's just, I feel like they need to just get it going a little bit. At least pre-orders like a poster or an image. But I don't know. I think E3 is way too late, and hopefully not.
Well, something about Bungie as well is like they've built this Twitch community where people go to their Twitch channel and they get huge numbers on there.
they do. Yeah.
So I think they are actually very capable of doing like their own reveal on their own channel whenever they want to.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So that could come anytime. We don't know when that could happen. That could happen whenever.
If you were to ask me, I'd say they're probably going to do a very vague reveal, like a just non-specific, probably not gameplay or anything, just like a very vague, Destiny 2 is happening, this is the name, this is the logo, this is the date, you can pre-order the game here. Just like a vague pre-order kind of reveal. I don't know when, but definitely before E3, and then E3 will be the proper gameplay demo, maybe a beta or an alpha. But yeah, I do feel like, I don't know, they'll want to get the ball rolling sooner than later.
I used to think that same thing about them needing more time to release a AAA title, but because Destiny is in a really unique place with the current player base and the people who have played it and the people who are still interested but don't play it at this point, it's got enough of a player base that I think it would be okay if it was just a 3-month hype period for them, because
it's going to get crazy sales anyway. It's probably going to be the biggest game of the year.
Exactly.
So,
it's going to be crazy. Yeah. And they also might push it into October and November as well. It's possible that with Destiny 2, they might shift that release schedule. I don't think so, but it's possible.
I think October. I'm kind of doubtful of November because it is COD as well. And I don't think Activision has never in the past had COD or Destiny anywhere near each other. They're always kind of like separate months.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like they'd want to avoid that. But if Bungie said like, yo, we need two more months, then they probably would have to. But I think they're probably going to try and avoid. Yeah, I think October at the latest, my personal guess.
Yeah. Because September is the end of quarter 3. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Plus, Eric Hirschberg did say they've got a reveal planned. So you'd kind of assume if they've got a reveal planned, it wouldn't be another 3-4 months away. Like, if they've got it planned, it must be happening kind of soon and not in 4 months. But I don't know, maybe it's just terminology.
I think you'd be surprised at how long these things are planned out.
Yeah.
It takes a while to get everything ready.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, I think it's going to be probably the biggest game of 2017. So they're definitely, and they know that the sequel, I think Destiny 2 is the most important game in the entire Destiny franchise. I think number 2 is going to be just so important because Destiny 1 has been very interesting, had a lot of success, a lot of failures, a lot of players that liked it but kind of were turned off it a little bit. So I think the sequel is going to be a big time for everyone to be like, for a lot of players to come back and be like, okay, what's happened with Destiny 2? Is it better? Have they fixed the stuff? Have they made it 60 FPS PC? Is it what's the difference? I think Destiny 2 is going to be the most pivotal game. If Destiny 2 is bad, I think a lot of people aren't going to care about Destiny 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever. But I think
Gonna be pivotal.
Yeah, Destiny 2 is going to be pivotal, I think, really.
Yep. Yeah. It's interesting. Do you guys want to go back to the patch notes actually? Because we didn't.
Yeah,
we
sure.
didn't talk about how some things we didn't talk about like lifesteal and cauterize and all that being essentially broken as well.
Yeah, we did.
We did a little bit.
We brushed up
didn't-
against it, but we were more focused on the primary fights and that type of stuff. We didn't talk about how some of the other classes are straight up broken from that. You know?
And like that one bug, it broke 10 separate things, possibly more that we just haven't been added to the list.
They've been talking about transfusion on helmets isn't working properly either when you pick up orbs.
Transfusion isn't working, but Better Already is. Hey Fitzy and I tested that yesterday. So if you still want to get that perk for it to properly regen health and shields, use Better Already, not Transfusion.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, so that's what you need to do. But yeah, there was a good post on the Destiny subreddit about someone that said, because of the nerf to Hungering Blade in PvP, I died in PvE, and how he can't.
Yes.
True.
That's the other thing too.
This one thing. We tend to focus a lot on PvP on this podcast.
Yeah.
But one thing that we do always try to say is any changes that happened, it really shouldn't affect the PvE sandbox too much, especially like weapon balance and stuff.
Yeah.
But class balance changes will inevitably affect PvE, and this is a pretty damn big one.
It is.
It's a huge one. And it definitely hurt a lot of the PvE landscape, because of a bug like this. And especially when the hotfix itself was supposed to really only touch PvP. And it's definitely touched PvE in a very bad way.
Yeah.
One thing I was kind of disappointed with in the patch was the taking away the shotgun primary or shotgun precision damage. So I feel like that's definitely there are a lot of PvE enemies where you try and get a headshot with the shotgun, but you can't do that anymore. So that's a big DPS loss if you're trying to do a certain boss or a major and you're trying to get them in the head with the shotgun. You can't do that or jump in the air. Like if you're trying to do is it airborne, the modifier where you try and jump in the air and get bonus damage like that? It's going to be a little bit more difficult. You have to be a bit closer, but compared to before where you can jump up in the air with your fourth horseman and just destroy someone in the head, in the air. That's going to be difficult because there's no headshot damage and there's a lack of airborne accuracy. So
they did increase the damage by 20% for shotguns in PvE. So
that's true.
Yeah, I know. It's very strange. It's like one archetype nerfing the entire weapon in the entire game.
That.
Yeah, we've been saying that.
Beginning.
Just get rid of the archetype. You can't balance it.
Yeah, I wouldn't even. It seems very drastic, but what if they were to just remove the archetype as a whole? What if there was just...
That's the exact change that we've been proposing. Just do what they did to Hopscotch Pilgrim, but do that to shotguns. Take that archetype, remove it down.
Yeah.
I've always thought what in Crucible and bring them down a peg.
Yeah.
Keep them around. You can still have your Matador, but now instead of doing that much impact, it does.
What if it was a 2-shot kill? Like in a lot of games, shotguns are 2-shot kills. And what if it was just a thing where shotguns, it's not a one-hit weapon, you have to do 2 shots?
I feel
I like it.
I don't know. That would put a lot of emphasis on rate of fire in PvP, and it would make faster rate of fire ones obviously way more viable. Maybe if the range would carry, I don't know. That's a pretty huge.
People could still shotgun melee. I mean, in the beta and early Destiny, it was like you just shotgun melee.
Shotgun melee.
Yeah.
That's what you did. Shotguns would very rarely kill from any kind of range in a one shot. So everyone just shotgun meleeed instantly.
Yeah, it was Vogue shotty. That was like the go-to weapon. It was nice. Yeah.
That was a good time. I mean, it felt like you had a chance to outplay somebody to mix it up,
And then here came Fellwinter's Lie.
In
and
freaking
ruined
October.
everything forever.
The first Iron Banner, right? It did.
It did. It changed the landscape forever.
All that changed when the Fire Nation attacked.
And they let you re-roll them, reforge them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Fun
then you can
times.
just re-roll them.
It didn't matter. They sold the God roll anyway with the max range and rangefinder on it.
There was
the Judgment 6 existed also, but it just wasn't as popular.
There was a couple things that we didn't. I know we're still talking about this, but there is a couple things that we didn't cover from the THWAB. And
there were things in the THWAB this week.
Yeah.
Hold up, before we go there, let's talk also one more thing that basically is just why did they do that, but still should be brought up.
Sure.
Why did they make Truth one magazine? One rocket?
That was so unpredictable.
What in the hell was that decision?
Truth die. Just nobody use Truth anymore. Let's just kill Truth.
And what is the purpose of reducing that rocket to one shot? It's just
hilarious.
The reason people use Truth as an exotic rocket launcher in PvP is because you could have a legendary primary and a legendary special. So it's like, why not use Truth? I might as well. So that was a huge reason why a lot of people use Truth and just had it equipped, because they didn't need to have an exotic primary or special.
It was also one of the few rocket launchers that had an ammo stat high enough that it would actually allow you to pick up the 3 rockets that it could hold in a magazine.
But now in PvE,
now in PvE,
and now it's screwed
every
in PvE.
single shot. It's. I mean, to be honest, you'd probably use Yalahorn in PvE.
Probably.
So
yeah, but
still,
it's
another,
still, if it's void damage,
it's another argument for separating. Yeah.
So
I think I would have been okay with 2 if there needed to be one at all.
Yeah,
the Truth rocket launcher was dominating in PvP. That thing was stupid.
Oh yeah, no,
yeah.
it absolutely was a trial.
But
it came out of like nowhere. It just I mean, it was used a lot. All right.
It was used a lot, but it's rockets
rocket in the game.
It's rockets,
and it's an exotic rocket launcher.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
it's
I'm okay with 2 in the tube, but 3 in the tube was
okay. But 1
is a little. I mean, I'm trying hard this podcast to be devil's advocate on some of these
this
things.
Is one thing
I don't think there's any
devil's
devil's advocate on this one, man.
I could not do it. I couldn't do it this entire.
No.
I can't. No. I would agree that there needs to be the Truth could have used a little bit of adjustment, but what they did is they just made it annoying as hell in PvE.
Yeah. It's destroyed.
There's other rocket launchers that have tripod that are legendary that you can use in PvE that are now better.
But how else would you suggest nerfing it in PvP then? It's hard to nerf.
It is a very
weapon.
Right. I think that instead of how many it has, because having 3 rockets available in the tube makes it an exotic. I think that having it being able to pick up as much ammo, right?
It's ammo stat. What needed to be adjusted was ammo stat. Instead of, completely altering the landscape, PvE and PvP on this one particular weapon, all you have to do is adjust the ammo stat. And then, in PvE, yes, you would have to pick up 1 more brick of heavy ammo to possibly max out your rocket launcher. But in PvP, it would properly reduce it down to 2. And you wouldn't have to adjust the magazine size.
Yeah.
Also,
I mean, I don't think anyone's really complaining about Truth, so
I wasn't really that bothered by it. I'm like, you have heavy, you don't have heavy forever, freaking
it's
whatever.
so rare these
It's
days.
one time. It's one
so
time
rare.
during a match.
It's really heavy in trials. Like I feel like I always use Truth as my exotic slot because I always use legendaries in my primary and special. But even in trials, I'd just be always having my exotic slot in Truth, and it's wasted because probably out of an entire card, I'd probably use heavy like once. It's such a waste of an exotic, but it's still it's just not really an issue.
I'd like to see all the forum posts complaining about Truth.
I think people is like, oh man, yeah, Truth. It's more of you're complaining about it because you see it a lot. Because I mean, okay, so remember the Holy Trinity in year 1: Fatebringer, Black Hammer, and Galahorn.
Yes.
And how you could use Galahorn because the other 2 were so powerful. Well, yeah, I mean, most people would only have 2 legendary primaries now, so you're just going to use a very powerful heavy weapon in PvP. Because, well, why not? Especially one that is fairly effortless to use for the most part. You aim down sights, and it takes care of all the tracking and stuff for you.
Yeah.
Man, you bringing up those 3 weapons combined together
Could we combine them into one weapon? Yeah.
makes me it just makes me nostalgic. My God.
A couple people in chat brought up, well, Truth was not used in PvE, and I disagree. I played a lot of strikes, And
Void
anytime there's a void burn, it's a great rocket launcher to take into void burn anything.
Yeah. Also,
And
it
so-
carry a lot of ammo.
Yeah,
I think for
it
any
was-
void burn, I'd normally use a sword, Dart Drinker. But anything that's like that needs a rocket, I
Yeah.
would definitely, truth.
Well, I like to switch it up. I agree with you, man. But I mean, when you start limiting the thing that's fun for me when I'm running strikes is that I like to flip through my options, right? And anytime I'm against things that take away options, if this limits it narrows my gameplay when I want to play strikes, and I can only use my sword because that's the only powerful, heavy, exotic void burn thing I have, then that limits it. And I know it's not as sexy to talk about as like your PvP-ness, but I'm
Nice.
PvE, being able to have fun and use different guns and stuff and different loadouts. I think that's where the fun of PvE comes from. And so that's why I don't like to see rocket launchers like that get a PvE nerf. That's why I don't want to see Thorn get a PvE nerf. That's why I don't want to see, Icebreaker. I don't want to see these guns get a PvE nerf. I want PvE to be Borderlands.
Yeah, me too.
I want it to be phenomenal, and I want guns to be fantastic. So I think that we need to start dividing them again more.
I remember logging on and seeing Truth, like before even the patch notes came out, because the update dropped and there was like a 20-minute gap. And I looked at Truth and saw the one magazine. I was just like, what? One? What?
Why?
Oh,
It's just like the blink nerf. Why?
The blink thing, I really thought they were going to give the recovery back, or were going to
Something.
allow you to spam it like you could in year one, something. But it was just like, no, we're just nerfing it.
Just
like-
You know what? This
Sick
actually
of
was
those
a patch with
blinkers.
There were a hell of a lot of
They
nerfs in this particular patch.
That was,
Balls
and
of
we
Bay
specifically
dances.
said, the community specifically said, please stop nerfing, let's start buffing.
Yeah.
There's a
And-
lot that has made me enjoy PvP again from this patch. Like, I love that there's primaries and hand cannons feel great, but there's a lot of things where I'm like, why? But why? I want to see the data that made them nerf this stuff.
The blink nerf is very odd. Also, Astrocyte Verse is an exotic that hasn't done
Is that
anything.
broken?
It's just never done anything.
It's
It's not that it's
Looks cool.
broken.
It's
The
probably one of
effect-
the best looking exotics.
Yeah, it's one of the best. It
Other than
looks
that.
so good.
looks so
You
cool.
don't actually get to use it. Like the time frame that you can use it is so finite that there's no point in using it anymore. And even the effect that you're getting is just laughably bad. So, maybe the entire community is using it wrong, and Bungie needs to go, okay, this is how you need to use it, and then we'll go, oh, okay, well then please update the tooltips to actually explain what it does.
Mm.
They're gonna
But yeah,
buff it. They're gonna buff it
Yeah,
so it actually gives you the radar back when you blink.
Yeah, Dado said that in the video. In his video, he was like, in before they do that, and then people took that as that's what was going to happen. Unfortunately,
Oh no.
Because Dado works for Bungie.
Dado totally works for Bungie. Yep.
I found myself wanting to use Astrocyte Verse just because it looks so cool. I was like, how do I use this weapon in a build? But it's just, I want to use it because it looks so cool, but it's just
Yep.
not good. Even if it worked, it's not that great.
I've been trying to go through and use create different builds, and using Dim, you try to create the different stat builds and different character builds. And I think that's really where it's been fun for me. Try to use those exotics that I just don't use, and I think one of the funniest ones or the funnest ones is the Titan arms that when you get hit, it sends a shockwave out.
Yeah.
Feedback.
The feedback fences on arc burn and strikes. You're an omnigul and you put them on. I mean, I switch out around my armor all the time, and just letting all the thrall catch up on you and then maul you, and then they all die. I mean, it's fun to find those situations where you can use that specific piece of armor and then utilize it for what it's intended for.
Yeah.
But yeah,
They broke a lot of it, unfortunately.
I broke
Yeah,
a
there was
lot.
definitely. I think the bottom line is there was a lot of PVE collateral damage.
A lot of it, yeah.
It was accidental.
Yeah.
One of the interesting posts on Reddit, which I kind of agree with. Was like, okay, how come we're seeing No Land Beyond used so much now? And it's like, well, a lot of the other stuff out there has been kind of nerfed down, reduced down, and
it's really easy to use.
I found it crazy how that weapon like surged, even though nothing happened to it. Like it surged in the middle of the last meta, even though it got no buff, and like there wasn't like a massive surge of. Like,
it was because
it was just like
the only reason it saw that surge was the high caliber rounds became so popular on pulse rifles, and one of the best ways to counteract that was using a weapon that didn't obey the normal rules of receiving flinch.
Also, sniping after them bringing after them nerfing snipers so much, it became so difficult for people to snipe. So they're like, I'm just gonna use No Land Beyond.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah.
Well, and I don't mean to say that No Land Beyond is like a. It still takes skill. You still have to aim. There's a lot of aim assist on it, but I don't use.
There's not a lot of aim assist on it.
It's really easy to get a shot, Watts. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but I'm
very
telling you,
low aim assist.
It has.
Okay, so I'm telling you from a player that has never used the gun before. Okay, I've used it once and probably since the game came out. I put it on today for the first time, and in the very first match, I got 10 kills with it right back to back. And and I'm not a good streak? No, well, I died, but versus.
You killed 10 people with a weapon, Pope. Is that what you're saying?
No. Well,
it's a very large pool of sample data that you're sampling from. Nice.
You know what? Screw you guys. All right. All I'm saying is that the gun I found, I shot it at somebody and it's like they're dead, and it was super easy to use, in my opinion. Am I wrong?
Okay. Yes.
How is it? I can't believe that I could pick up a gun for the first time and get kills with it.
Because that's a weapon. Pointing at people shooting the trigger. It's a sniper rifle. It's going to do high damage on body. It's going to kill them in one headshot. That is how sniper rifles work. But there are a lot of things that you have to consider when using No Land Beyond. It has a weird, you have to cock for each shot. There is scope sway associated with it. The aim assist of it is on not the lowest end of spectrum, but it's low considering what people normally want to use for a sniper. The only real benefit of it. Okay. It's the stickiness of it due to the high range that does carry out a little bit farther than other sniper rifles. So, yeah.
And maybe I was just feeling it that day. But
maybe you were on your game. There's a lot of other things that can happen. Yeah.
I think you're underestimating how much of a sniper god you are, to be honest.
Oh,
why
are you surprised that you're doing well with the weapon? You should be like, yeah, this is.
I'm just surprised that it some of the shots I got off were, maybe it's the thing that you're talking about, that it doesn't flinch. But
I think you're realizing you're a sniper god, to be honest.
I always knew I was a sniper god, Andrew. I have an LDR and 1,000-yard stare that I really enjoy, and I enjoy sniping. I know how to snipe.
Local man kills 10 people over the course of a game with a sniper, claims himself sniper god. More news at 11.
Shut up, Roman.
By the way, we should let people know that are listening via the audio version that Briar had to reset his router. His internet died.
Be like, I haven't heard Briar in a really long time.
Exactly. Briar had to reset his router. He's still not back yet. I don't know if resetting is helping him.
Upset about the Blade Dancer nerfs.
Yeah, he was distraught.
Look, guys, it's totally okay that I'm getting the shit end of this argument. It's the only time, without Briar here, these guys are ganging up on me. It's fine. It's fine.
There was also a lot of people
taking your side. I'm saying you're
No, your sarcasm is appreciated, but normally that's my tool, so shut up and sit in the corner. All I'm saying is that gun seemed easy to use, and I only had time to play for a couple games, but maybe it's just me. I mean, I had No Land Beyond and a Sidearm, and the combination of those two, one body shot, and and then switching to the Sidearm was a very easy combination.
I mean, it's a
especially
So
in
did
this
you
new
get
meta.
the kills with the weapon or?
Well,
with
that's
the
what I was
sidearm
trying
then?
to say is that it's you were asking if I got 10 kills without dying, without all with the same gun, and no, because I was using the combination of the two.
Okay, so you're hitting people with like a body shot then swapping.
Mhm.
Yeah, with any sniper.
yeah.
You can
No,
probably
with
do
any
it better
sniper.
with a regular sniper in last
Yeah.
round.
Yeah.
So how do you use a
That's
sniper and
Technically
and
a last
sidearm?
word. That's technically a last
Clean
word.
up.
And
You
combo.
use a sniper in anything else, like a hand cannon or a last word. So
That was like the
you
year
know,
one thing. You just
Yeah.
hit someone in
I don't know,
the, in
you
the
guys.
toe with
You
an
guys, I think
LDR
you guys
and
are being a little
News at
defensive of
11.
your-
Pope Bear
of your
discovers how to
last-
in-cooch body shot people with a sniper and switch to a primary.
Is that
Coming in for
unscrewed
news at
special?
2 a.m. We will see what new developments come from Pope Bear's personal meta.
Also, can we just like one thing that I find really funny is that can we just process that in 2017 people are complaining about sidearms and no land
And
beyond.
no land beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
isn't it
you roll
hilarious?
back to year one
Yep.
and said that, you would get laughed at.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
imagine there's a
That's
day
true.
where people are complaining about sidearms and no land beyond the stick.
Yep.
Like,
Yes.
people are complaining about that, but I know it's crazy where things have gone. That those are some of the best
All right.
things.
I
Also,
give up.
people
You
saying
guys
that
are
they
right.
miss
I
year
suck.
one meta. Yeah.
Yeah, there are some things they probably won't miss getting destroyed by a thorn.
But people miss that right now.
A lot of people they have that view, but they also forget that people weren't maxing all their stats in year one, and people didn't know how to fully use the movement in year one. So there's a lot of things that were very different in year one. It wasn't just like, oh, the weapons were so much better. And
People didn't
There's a
know
lot
about
of
god rolls. They just used random. Like
Yeah.
I remember, just looking at some of the weapons that I used to use back in year one. I'm just thinking this weapon is just awful. This got no good PvP perks. Why? But it's just the lack of knowledge back then. No one knew
yeah,
what is the best stability.
you watch
with,
even the
like,
best players' gameplay back then, and it's like, what are you doing? They're
Yeah.
like not jumping really. They're not like, yeah, it's very different.
crazy. It'd be
Yeah,
interesting
watch-
to throw stuff back to then, but
I deleted a bunch of footage on my PlayStation from a while back, but it was like old Iron Banner the first couple Iron Banners. It was a lot of boots on the ground, running everywhere, not really jumping a whole lot. No one was on either side. I think one of the I got a little theory. One of the reasons why like grenade spam, ability spam has been such a big topic as of late is because players like stat inflation. Basically, players are able to finally fairly easily get max intellect, basically 2 max stats. They're able to get that without really any investment, like searching out particular pieces of armor. Like you'll eventually get it, and then cool. And so now the standard, cooldown time of basically every single grenades is 25 seconds for every single match. So that's why you're seeing so many people use grenades. Also, hello Briar, welcome back.
Hey,
Briar figures
Hello.
the internet. Yes.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, I
when
noticed
you
a
were
lot
gone,
of
these
that
guys were
involved.
giving me so much shit, and they were all over me. Without you here, I was defenseless.
Yeah, you missed it. Pope shed 3 tears. And
They
he
were
was all-
going in on me,
Yeah.
and
You
I felt so
bastards.
bad.
Yeah. He was
you got a wee run out of
heartbroken.
medals with a no land.
Right.
How
beyond.
could I do it? It was always
Yes.
My
You went.
my poor emotions. My one feeling was hurt.
Mhm.
So one thing you need to know, internet, if you are going to be a troll, I am a old man now, and I've been on the internet for a while and a troll for quite some time. If you
the
can't,
best of trolls.
if you can't
Old man troll.
take it, if you can't take it, you shouldn't be given it. And I fully deserve everything I just got from these guys. For the amount of shit I've been giving them for how long, guys? Like how long? Seriously.
about 3 years now. About 3
For
years
about
now.
3 years, and that's all I get. I think I got off pretty easy.
Oh no,
and
you're
I just-
not going to see the end of it.
No, I'm done. It's done now. Briar's
Oh,
back.
Okay.
Did you guys already start Twitter questions?
Nope.
Not yet. No.
No, we
Nah.
can't do that
You're
without
talking
you.
Yeah,
about,
literally
like,
nobody
well,
else can do that except for you.
Yeah.
Did you talk about blue microphones?
No, we
No.
didn't, because the
Oh my
one
God,
that
thank
I
you.
was waiting for Briar to get back on was to talk about these blue mics and headphones that we are using. They're wild. And they're just some of the iconic gear that Blue creates. Blue's award-winning products are the driving force behind professional musicians, internet creators, and countless elite gaming teams and Twitch streamers. Their Yeti USB mic is the internet's most popular microphone, and their MoFi and Lola headphones deliver an insane sound and a very personalized fit. Blue offers everything you need to completely immerse yourself in the ultimate gameplay experience. Learn more about Blue at bluemic.com. I have a brief story to tell about why I've been using my Blue headphones all week, if I can actually say it very quickly.
Because they're
awesome.
Because they're wild. And
Wow,
they
these
are
crazy headphones.
Yeah.
Is it part of the contract with Blue for Pope to caress his Blue microphone like that? Is that
Nah,
that's all.
is that necessity?
That's
No,
100%
that's just me.
Pope.
Yeah,
this is just
him.
This is just my
That's-
love for the product. I don't support things like this usually. It's just this
It would
and
be like a bullet point in the bottom, like Pope must caress. Someone
No,
must
it's more
caress
of like
Blue
Pope is really happy with how easy the Blue Yeti microphone is to use for any podcast and streaming service because he's an old man and doesn't know how to work technology. Anyway, so normally when I game,
God, look at this, Briar.
I know. Yeah, normally when I game, I use like the Astros because they're fairly lightweight and everything, and good sound quality. But when I got the TRs, it had like this inline mic dial on it, or this dial that allows you to adjust the volume coming in, and it's kind of shoddy, not really made very well. So like anytime I accidentally bumped it, like all the audio channels would just switch over to the left, and I couldn't hear anything out of the right ear, and I have to bump it back, and it was kind of annoying. So I decided, I'm gonna fix it. Instead of buying a new mic cable, I'm gonna spend only like $1 on some super glue. And I'm just gonna super glue the hell out of it, make sure that dial cannot move. Yeah,
We can't move.
yeah. Oh, it definitely can't move anymore. So I got the super glue, and I filled the crap out of it. I just layered that on there, both sides of it. It couldn't move. It was not moving. Let it sit out in the sun to dry a little bit. Perfect. Came back after about 10 minutes, and the super glue, turns out it completely eats through that type of plastic.
Oops.
So
But did you
Yeah.
fix it? It doesn't move anymore.
it doesn't move anymore. It
In a
doesn't move.
sense, it's fixed.
And
So,
so
is super glue conductive, by the way? Like, if you get that into electronics, it seems like it would short it out too,
the
right?
type
Right.
I got is actually highly combustible, apparently. So
Highly combustible.
highly
plus?
combustible. It was some industrial grade level shit. I really
sure you
didn't
bought
want
glue?
that dial to move.
Usually, I just glue my fingers together, and that's where the super glue adventure ends every time.
You sure you didn't buy acid or dynamite?
yeah. So now I'm using my Blue headphones for gaming, and it's really nice because I'm actually hearing a bunch of stuff that I normally wouldn't hear, like all these fun little sounds.
You
Audio.
hear blade dancers
Guys.
crying. You're gonna hear the tears of blade dancers.
Every time I
Yeah.
hit a throwing knife, it's just so much more visceral. It's great.
It's got
You
so
can
So
much
hear
more
the
solar.
so much more solar.
Yeah.
It's so much more
Next
solar.
week, podcast
That's
is
solar
sponsored
powered
by
knife.
Super Glue.
And by 3M, we make super glue so strong that you have to buy a new mic cable.
Also,
Hope
apparently
you
it's
should caress some
combustible.
Super glue.
Who knew?
Yeah, yes, yes, it is.
I feel like I could have figured that one out just based on the smell of super glue.
Oh yeah,
We-
that's
we-
another
Smells
reason.
like it's combustible.
Yeah, that's
Got through
another
the
reason why
Blue
I was like,
ad
you know what?
copy.
I'm just gonna add a new, I'm gonna buy a new cable because now my entire room smells like super glue. I'm just gonna throw that away. That was a horrible idea.
Using the ventilated
Damn.
room.
All right, Twitter questions. We got some good ones this week. We don't have a whole lot of time, so let's try and
We
rapid
don't.
fire them the best we
Rapid
can.
fire. I love.
Oh, that'll
rapid
last
fire.
for like 2 questions.
Right.
Yes. but
First
let's
question
try.
from My Name is Bife. Question
Who's
for
that?
unknown player, actually. Why are you such a scrub?
We're gonna wait
Um,
for the answer on this.
I mean, I learned from the best.
There's that British wit.
I blame anything I know. I blame Tobias. So if I'm a scrub, then it must be because of he is the
He's a great teacher.
the king scrub,
He
That's
is the
fair.
scrub
That.
lord.
the scrub lord.
Stephen Kuhn says, how does Pope feel about being a new Warlock main?
Oh yes.
What are you talking about, Brian?
Well, it seems to me you may have made a bet today with Deej.
You know, there's certain things that you learn in life, and I've learned a few of them today. One is you never tempt a warlock, especially. I don't know. For those of you guys don't know, on Twitter, I jokingly said to Deej, "Hey, kick me down some, leak me some of that, that TWAB info early.
TWAB juice.
Leak me some of that TWAB juice, and I'll delete my Titan and main a Warlock. That's it's a joke, right?
Nope.
And I said, you gotta, Brian, your mic's muted. And then I said, you got an hour to respond, right? And I'm thinking, Deej isn't gonna respond to that, right? Well, then he replies back, and the damn Warlock, sneaky Warlock that he is, replied back with just the most mundane stuff. Like, we're gonna solicit responses from the update, and we're gonna tell you where we're gonna be going. Yeah. Where you can meet up with us, and
also there's gonna be a movie of the week. It's
yeah. He basically just trolled me, and then he said your move. So
he gave you some TWAB juice, and you have to accept it.
He gave me TWAB juice, and I wasn't specific. I wasn't specific enough in my request to have juicy, TWAB juice. I just
Deej is very good with words. So
he's a wordsmith, and he's a warlock, which makes him very dangerous.
Very good with words.
Yes, he's good with words, but bad with jumping, and that's.
But now you are as well, so.
Well, so apparently now I have to delete my Titan, which is I don't know. If I looked at it on time wasted on Destiny, I probably have something like 20 days on it or 15 days played on it.
How many hours?
Anyway,
that's not that much.
No, not too bad. And
how many hours is that? Is that over 1,000?
It's a lot.
No.
It's a lot. It's like 800 hours or something like that on just my Titan. But anyway, so I'm gonna delete it, and like I said, I was going to, and yeah, I'll put
your
it.
Main character?
Yes.
Ouch.
Yes.
Just use that PlayStation record feature. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
I'll tweet it out.
Tweet that
I'll give you a
video.
tip. I'll give you a tip. Start as a blade dancer.
Yeah. So apparently, to complete my transformation, I need to learn how to use a Warlock in all its capacity before I can make a Titan again. So I shall main a Warlock for a period of time. Apparently, I need to learn how to.
Check out the Ophidian aspects. Oh wait.
Yeah.
Just learn how to Stormcaller. Oh yeah.
That wasn't really nerfed at all.
That actually wasn't.
Yeah,
Really
the
nerfed.
Stormcaller is fine.
About 3 meters. About 3 meters got taken off the melee. Which is still kind of nice to say they took off 3 meters of a melee. Yeah. But hey,
right? Jesus.
And it's still good.
And it's still pretty good.
Anyway,
next question.
So,
Paul. Oh, go ahead.
No. That's it.
Paul M says a glass of ice cold gluten-free beer or a glass of flat Coke from a bottle that's been out in the sun.
Hey,
I don't see this. I've never had a gluten-free beer, but I got to assume it's better than hot ass Coke.
It's tough.
Is gluten a big thing for beer?
Well, most beers made. Well, okay. Here's what it is. Most beers are made out have gluten in them because of barley. There's a lot of gluten-free beers out there that taste like soap.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's bad. There's a few that are delicious, but there's a majority that kind of tastes like soap, and you're like, "What the hell am I drinking?" So that's a tough one. I'd probably, for me, I'd stick with the gluten-free beer.
If there are some good ones though, then we're safe.
Yeah, there's definitely some good ones.
Then.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there we go.
But they're harder to
find. Gluten-free?
And they're more expensive. I'm gluten-free. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Do you drink beer?
Gluten-free beer. Yeah.
So I have
you
a
must
Titan.
have found a good gluten-free beer.
Yeah, there's
I have a Titan on my Xbox.
Delete it. That's
I have a Titan on my Xbox.
Rip the Xbox Titan.
2 a.m. news update. Local man turns out is outsmarted by a warlock. Decides to try to outsmart warlock. We will update this news as we see fit.
Mark
will
Norton
it go?
says, "Can we assume that Destiny 2 will not have blink?" Smiley face.
Yeah,
Basically.
yes. Yeah. Or everyone will have blink.
You think?
Everyone will
Only
either have the
Titans will have
option
it.
to get blink, or no one will have blink. There we go. That's what I'm saying.
Andrew Fizak says, about Scories, a possible way to counter it in trials. Could Perun with smart team tactics be a good way to counter Scories?
What does Perun do?
That's a good question, Patrick.
Isn't that the one that shows the supers?
Yes, I think so.
It is.
Yeah.
Supers
Oh.
and low health.
It's not really a counter.
You mean the one that I use? Okay, I use it in trials, and it's like, oh, he has a super. Is he not using it? He probably has Scories. Perun doesn't really counter it. It makes you aware of it. It makes you aware of who has a super, so you can try to, team shot them down. But that's usually very difficult when a whole team is using Scories. So
You'll probably be busy trying to dodge their Stormcaller as opposed to looking at them.
Yeah, they're all either hiding in a dark corner somewhere or running at you with.
That's the thing. You won't be able to see them if they're hiding and camping. You won't be able to see them in the first place. You won't be able to tell if they have a super. If they're hiding, they probably have a super. So.
Big Sean 808 says, with the new update changing the meta and gameplay, what do we need to sacrifice for more vault space? I think it's Pope's Titan.
Yep.
It's
You should
PS4
try
Titan,
that.
by the way.
You should try that.
Tweet Deej and ask him if you delete your Warlock, can he increase wall space?
There you go.
Or your Titan.
is there
Muted, Pope.
prior? Do we have a question about the Vex footage thing seen this week?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Great.
I went to delete my Titan before the podcast, and it turns out that I couldn't move everything off of it.
Or you did.
Delete it. I didn't have enough space to move stuff off, so I just couldn't do it. But now I have a loophole.
Also, guys, we didn't mention it. This is just something that's just silly, but Scories is currently being sold at like 115% intellect
Why
discipline.
did you mention that?
Because it's ridiculous. They're like, they didn't do anything about Scories, and then they the week the patch drops, they literally give a perfect intellect and discipline
I might
discipline one.
actually finally pick it up.
Yeah? It's just hilarious.
I've just had
I don't
I've
have
had
it right now.
Yolda just glued to my character. I've never
I love
used
Yolda.
another artifact in my life. It's just been.
Yeah,
I
she
was kind of
cute.
hoping it would be that, but second Rise by launch on the day it was being sold. I think it was Strength though. Yeah, I just bought it from her, stuck it on, never been removed. Always switch over, and then I think a couple weeks later when they sold it into this been one, I just Yolda.
I know that the Moments of Triumph, I'm positive that in this year's Moments of Triumph, you're going to have to collect all of them. But
Yeah.
I stopped collecting them as soon as I got Yolders. I'm like, this is the one I want.
I know, right? It's the one that I use predominantly, yeah.
And you have to do the Plague Lands things to get the
Mhm.
Iron Force Legacy.
It just seems like a Bungie troll to do that.
Or banter.
Big Sean 808 says, oh, I just read that one. Richard says, what's the DCP's best Fatebringer role so far? Fatebringer role. Mine's Spray and Play, Hammer Forged, and Firefly.
I don't really have a good one.
I get crap ones constantly. I've gotten like 20 of them, and they all suck.
For Imago, I've actually had like just straight god rolls for the most part. Like Outlaw, Hammer Forged, Reactive Reload, Outlaw, Hammer Forged, Luck in the Chamber, Rangefinder, Hammer Forged, Luck in the Chamber. But basically, god rolls minus every combination of god roll perks minus Rifled Barrel because it just doesn't exist on. It doesn't exist as far as I know.
As a
Well,
rough
I
gun
might
to
be able
farm.
to attest to that. I do have I got Fatebringer with Reinforced Barrel, Outlaw Firefly,
Oh, reinforced. Okay.
Reinforced, and True Sight. So it's kind of perfect in my opinion as someone who uses it mainly in PvE. It's just Fatebringer with a chunk of range.
Mm-hmm.
I can't complain. I got that in around Christmas, which was
Oh,
something I
really?
was hunting quite a while. But yeah, really, really happy. That was probably like the most excited I've been about a drop in, I don't know, since year one, because it's such a unique, rare weapon.
Getting
yeah.
my Devil You Know was the most excited I've been about a drop. And
Yeah, that was a hell of a drop, too. That was
Yeah.
a really good roll.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't play
Uh,
PvE all that much, but when I do, that Fatebringer is awesome.
I mainly play PvE just to try and farm for a Fatebringer.
Right?
Same.
I used to do that, but now I've got it. It's kind of that's the thing as well. When you're chasing something, when you get it, it's kind of like
Yeah.
that was the carrot on the stick, and now you got it. So now what do you do? Now what do you do? It's like when I get, I have no use for skeleton keys anymore because like it sounds like a good
It's a
problem to
first
have,
world
but-
problem.
Yeah, but you got to think like once you get everything you want, then what do? Like skeleton keys there's nothing I can get with skeleton key that.
I highly recommend just deleting your character and going all poshy on it and then starting over.
I think that's your problem, seeing as you're the one that tweeted Deej. I think I'll leave that to you.
Dude, I don't have a problem anymore. My Xbox character is toast.
I think we need to get a Deej on to dispute this.
Yeah, I think
Well,
we should.
What was the terminology of your tweet?
Well, we can go back
Did
to
you say
it,
your
but
main Titan? Because your
I
main
said
is
I would.
PS4.
I said I would main a warlock. So all I have to do now is use that.
That means you have to
stupid
play on
piece-
Xbox.
No, I mean when I
Is your
use
main
play
it?
on Xbox, I will use my warlock.
That means you have to play on Xbox as a main warlock. From now
Yeah,
on.
that
Trying
means
to
you have to play
weasel
on
your way
Xbox.
out of this one, folks.
We'll talk about this more. We'll talk about this more. There's
Matt
definitely
Bungie
gonna be a
says,
video.
do you like hot dogs with or without onions?
With. I
With.
love onions. I love onions on everything.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
a pretty big fan of onions. In fact, I'd rather just have the onions with the hot dog.
Can I just have like onions in a bun? That
Yeah.
sounds
Those
good.
blooming
Depends if
onions from Outback Steakhouse.
Literally like
depends if
the
you
worst
feel
thing
like-
you could possibly put in your body.
Yeah.
Clearly, you've never tried gluten-free beer. Hey,
Or soap.
Ellen Ecky says, do you feel Destiny is losing its uniqueness? Nerfing perks, certain guns, abilities, subclasses. Now I'm hearing it's time to nerf cooldowns on class abilities. What's left of the game we all loved in the alpha and beta? Thanks, DCP Rocks. What do you guys
Good
think? Is
point.
it starting to get kind of watered down? Is it still Destiny?
This is definitely
I
still
think-
Destiny.
I think it's very different from year one. That's for sure. I think we've also played a lot of it, and we've discovered a lot of the loopholes that have then been adjusted in the meta because of loopholes being discovered and all that. And I think when you put in, a couple thousand hours into a game, you reach a certain point where it's like, maybe we need the next game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
When you put it like that, a couple
I think it
thousand
still
hours.
has its uniqueness. It's just that we know everything, so some of the more unique things aren't like necessary. So we know what perks are good, and the rest, the other 80% are just pretty much garbage. So you just throw them out. But
Yeah.
I think it's
I'm
still
gonna
unique
return
if you
my
look for it.
copy. I don't feel like anything less than 3,000 hours is worth $60.
You'll be searching for a while.
Prior, no, but if you've added in all your Everest purchases and stuff like that, how much do you think you've spent on Destiny?
I'd try not to even think about it, to be honest with you.
Is it more on microtransactions than all the expansions and
I've
Well, I
base
bought,
game?
I bought
more-
the Ghost, like the Super Ghost edition of Destiny 1, and I bought it on PlayStation. Then I bought the Xbox version, and then I bought each DLC for both. So just like the games alone, I don't know how much is that. And
You
then I
get a
bought the
pass
special
as a
edition
content
of
creator.
Taken King.
As a content creator, you get a pass. 'Cause obviously, it's like if it's fueling your channel, then it's more justifiable.
It's a tax write-off.
Tax write-off.
Tax
yeah.
write-offs.
Yep.
Yep.
True.
How I justify playing Magic the Gathering, play it on stream. Oh, buying cards, tax write-off.
Tax write-off.
Justification. I bought the daddy
Karen
mode.
Lancaster says, do you think Trials or some form of it will be coming to Destiny 2?
Yes.
I think that's a
Sure.
no-brainer.
It's like their most popular, most best thing. It's not gonna be-
Arguably, it's kept
but yes.
Destiny alive. For
Yeah,
Yes.
I think it's the best editions of
I think
Destiny
they'll switch
in-
it around, but
the longest
like,
lasting.
Oh, I
Yeah.
hope they don't. I hope they just keep that as a throwback to Destiny
Yeah,
2.
and I hope there's
well, I
something
just hope
new.
they keep it. They make it better. Like I would really like spawns to
something else?
switch. I would like spawns to switch.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
maybe like weapon locking. So you go in there with your loadout, and then that's your loadout. Might be kind of cool. Yeah, and just some different things to bring to Trials. But I want it to stay as Trials of Osiris.
I think I'd
Yeah.
like it, but
I
to be called something different and to be different. I don't know. I don't think I want to be playing Trials of Osiris for 6 years and Destiny.
What if we get to
3.
meet Osiris
Oh,
and
yeah.
Osiris
Yeah,
voices
like if
Trials
it
of Osiris?
evolves
And then he
it's
gets
different,
eaten by an
there-
Ahamkara.
Yes.
These all sound
Best
like good
cutscene
things.
ever.
My
You got
Those are all good things.
my whole thing about Trials right now is that it lost its appeal as an endgame content for a while for me at this point.
Okay.
Because I've played a lot of it and I've got all the rewards, and with the way the netcode is, it's not this experience that I can't wait to jump into every week anymore. When it first came out, it was, and then in the Taken King, it was. But it's reached a point where it's like, I want something else, and I want some sort of PvP endgame as well in Destiny 2. I want a better PvE endgame in Destiny 2, and I want the same thing for PvP as well. Something that is more than just a couple carrots that you want to reach, and then that's it. Like they gotta have a little bit, possibly embrace a little more MMO type of stuff into the game to allow these longer tail end game type of content, both in PvE and PvP. And
I completely agree with that.
Yep, I agree with that.
To me, the Trials of Osiris is as exciting as the meta is. I get psyched. I'm really excited for Trials of Osiris this weekend, but I haven't even played it for like the last 3 or 4 weeks.
And the maps as well. Destiny 2, if we have a whole new set of maps, like I feel like the maps are the most kind of important thing to Trials. That it's a different map every week, so it's kind of like a different play style, different set of weapons, different call outs and stuff. So with Destiny 2, if there's 10, 50 new maps, that would last a long time because each map can be played a good like 5 times. That's years, and we're at the point now where it's been nearly 2 years of Trials, and everyone knows like we've had every Trials map probably a lot of times, so it's kind of wearing a bit thin. Also, the rewards are great, but I guess it depends. I mean, there are some people that have never been to Lighthouse and are still chasing it, but there's, I think for the most people, it's kind of wearing a bit thin.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. Like in World of Warcraft, the arena game mode, which is kind of like the premier game mode for PvP there, where it's just 2v2, 3v3, and then 5v5. Those are different modes. There's nothing else added. It's just go in, kill the other team. That's it. That's all you do in the game mode. That's been going strong since it got put into the game in Burning Crusade, which was like 12 years ago at this point. So yeah. You'd be surprised at how a limited game mode with not a lot of rules can stick around.
Michael Angelo Lyman says, now that Holtz has no hair, is his Destiny skills fallen like Samson? And what would happen to Tefty's beard?
I feel like I've gotten, I don't know, the patch making have a lot of primary weapon engagements. I'm pretty good at shooting people with primaries, so I don't know. I've dropped some high 30s kill games for almost every day now, so I'm having a good time. We'll see how Trials goes.
Maybe losing the hair made you lighter, so you can go through the air faster.
More streamlined.
I think so.
Evan Meyer says, what are you hoping to see in the spring update besides the idea of old raids being brought up?
All of the raid weapons being made exotics, the old ones being made exotics, and with skins. That's all I got.
That's an awesome idea. I've never heard that one before.
Take it.
That'd be great.
I want to see an updated Vex, Necrochasm, and Pocket Infinity.
Yes.
I want Pocket Infinity back, please. It's so fun.
Please.
And have it respawn with ammo like Sidearms. Because it's fun.
I don't know if we're going to get any new content.
I don't think so either. But
they said that they did say
we're going to get new content, Briar.
We're getting a live team event.
Or we riot.
Definitely new PvE content. They've said that numerous times in the update. It's definitely PvE.
We're getting something before Destiny 2.
I think honestly,
like was last year's refresh, was last year's April update new content? I mean, we did get one new strike, right, in the April update.
Yeah, it's a very short strike. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And then we got the revamped Challenge of Elders.
Yeah, it was Malik and
that one campaign mission, the shortest mission in the history of Destiny.
Yeah. So,
oh my god,
that's
was hilarious.
That's kind of what I expect. Is maybe we'll see a refresh of one raid, 2 raids.
I think
it'll
that's
be all of the
bet,
raids.
Honestly,
and then maybe a mission.
I don't think there's anything that would be. I think the only thing that the community would love would be something that would take way too much time for Bungie, like actual new content, which Bungie don't have time to do. I think remaking the raids is just the best answer. It's just simple. It's like the only stuff that hasn't been remade. It's just there's so many weapons. It's a chance to. I mean, a lot of year 3 players that have never played the year 1 content. It's just there are so many benefits to it, and it's just they don't have to spend loads of time making new content and waste their time on this 2.5-year-old game. They can just. It's obviously not as hard as making a brand new raid. So I think it's just the best answer for everyone. I think.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it.
Yeah, me too.
What if the last update The last update before we get Destiny 2 gives us more vault space.
Then we riot.
Then we riot. After
At the very end, they give us unlimited vault space.
Yeah.
But if they
60
remake the
pages.
raids, they'll probably have raid kiosks, and that means we can delete / store all of our raid gear and armor. So that would be a huge toll.
That would be
vault
good.
space.
Would be nice. Michael Fitzgerald says, "Do you think anyone from Bungie will be at PAX East?" I do.
Probably.
do.
Yeah,
Got-
that's
got
a
a
pretty
slight-
safe bet. Pretty safe bet.
Slight guess.
I would assume that Michael wrote this before the TWAB came out, but they specifically mentioned that they will be going to PAX East. They won't have a booth there, but they will be there.
Yeah. And apparently you need to stock the big pretzel vendors because that's where you'll find Deej.
Pretzel vendors. Perfect.
Either
I do
that or
love a
check
big
it-
pretzel.
Yeah, either that or
Soft
check out
pretzels are
their Twitter accounts. They'll be posting where they are, and you can find them that way.
The Fonz Plays says, "Did you guys know that Destiny has sidearms in this game? In all seriousness, Trespassers Bay, so much fun right now. It is nice to see
fun.
him around. I mean, you
Yeah.
rarely ever saw him.
I still think it's crazy that we're at a point that sidearms are kind of complained about. I still think, looking back, if you said that back in House of Wolves, wasn't it? They were introduced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you told us back then that sidearms would be the thing everyone's complaining about, you'd be laughed at. But
You know,
No,
before I got
crazy.
disconnected earlier, I was trying to ask Watts. I saw her playing with Drake's Promise on stream.
Yes.
How is it? Is it any good?
I've always liked Drake's Promise. Like, I
Yeah.
really have.
That sounds like a no.
It's the same as it was before. It's
Yeah.
just, I mean, the good thing about it is if someone runs away from you, it can like track them behind the wall because that's a
Holtz
thing.
made me delete mine.
Yep.
Really, you should go get it
I
again.
didn't make him delete. I just made him stop using the damn thing. 'Cause, like, dude, Briar, you're dropping like 2 kills in a match here, and we're going against Cathalion. My street cred of being a good PvPer is on the line here. And fortunately, he did. We won. It was great.
Uber Tuber. So good. Fonz Play says, oh, no, it's a different question by the same guy. Special ammo feels like getting the sniper in Halo. Whenever you get it, you don't want to mess up. Would DCP agree?
feel like heavy.
It's like the opposite for me. I get special, and I'm like, I'm gonna die, so I'm just gonna run in there and see how many people I can kill, and then
Kamikaze.
Well, I also think that special spawns so freaking often that I don't think
You think they should reduce
have
it?
to worry about it.
The special
Yeah, I
spawn?
mean, it's just everywhere. I'm getting 4 or 5 special boxes a match. I mean,
It's pretty easy to get special. I was surprised.
Yeah.
you just got to have the situational awareness. I mean, it's not like, I mean, the boxes show up and the countdown timer is just, I mean, it's not hard. What do they show up every 30 seconds or something?
1 minute.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
But
How
there's,
long?
like,
How long is a
loads of
match?
10 minutes.
All
Generally.
right, they're showing up 10 times. I mean, if you need more than that amount of special ammo, I mean,
But there's like 3-4 boxes on the map as well. Like there's not
Yeah.
just one, so it's they're everywhere.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
can't.
Because
I
the
haven't
time
really
is the way
noticed
they
that
work,
30-meter nerf to like how close you've got to be. Like it
Yeah.
seems like every time I walk by one of those, there's a
yeah,
piece
there's something there.
sitting there.
yeah,
brick,
yeah, that's true.
You can be like on the other side of the map and you'll get it.
I don't know, man. I don't think it's special ammo. I think the only thing that we've talked about this, the only thing is that, you know, there's one class now that's shining above the rest. And I mean, sidearms are, you know, there, right?
And Warlocks.
And blade dancers.
And warlocks.
Oh,
And Blade
I'm gonna have
Dancers.
So much fun going through YouTube comments saying we're so biased against warlocks. It's gonna be great.
Audio
It's all right,
Aesthetic
Patrick.
says
I don't read them anyway.
that's not true. Audio Aesthetic says, when will DCP come to Google Play podcasts?
So,
Not it.
Patrick.
Not it.
Patrick, you said you were gonna do it.
You said
say I was
gonna
you
do
were
it.
on
You're like the
air
first
saying you were
episode.
going to do it.
That meant one of you. I was going to pass it off to one of you guys. I don't know how to do any of
I
that.
said I'll do it, and Patrick says like, no, I'll do it. And then
Bullshit. I would never,
it was
ever.
done.
I would never. If someone else takes responsibility of doing something, I will completely allow them to do that. I don't know how to do it. Whatever. I'll Google it.
It's a powerful tool.
Audio Aesthetics, another one actually. I'm not a streamer / YouTuber. How can I become a more active player in the Destiny community?
Join a clan.
That's true.
Yep.
That is true.
Join a clan, be part of Twitch chats, talk with people about the game.
Join the Discords of the Twitch streamers and get involved in one of the communities there.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's always something going on too.
Yep.
That's true.
Chris Body says, which weapon foundry from Borderlands would you bring to Destiny?
I mean, Jacobs is already kind of the last word. So.
What's the one that exploded when you reloaded? Because that was cool.
TDR.
Yeah.
There we go. That's what I want.
I agree with.
They're once use magazine or once use guns. So you just chuck them away and they explode.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty nice.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. That'd be cool.
Like there's not enough grenades in Destiny already.
Exactly.
We need more explosions.
Yeah.
I'd probably just stick with Jacobs, honestly. It's my fave.
Chris Body says, which weapon... I just read that one. Dominic Zulu says, how soon do you think Bungie could fix health regen alongside Scories? Cosmo acknowledged both in his post.
Just flick a button.
Nope.
It's
It's just a
3 weeks.
we all know it's easy.
4 weeks, 1 month.
Unnerf Blade Dancer button. Just hit it.
Yeah.
I imagine if they're going to put out another patch, it would be in like a big update. So
Yeah, I think
I wouldn't
update.
expect it any less than 2 months away.
Yeah.
You think it'll
I
just
think they
come...
might do a hot fix and just revert. Possibly. Maybe they'll just revert all of it. Maybe they'll forgive Blade Dancers and unnerf them. But I don't know. I mean, if I was Bungie, I'd probably just unnerf the regen and then take it from there.
Mm-hmm.
But that, maybe I'm biased. I like Blade Dancer. But...
What if they never did it?
What if what?
Never did what?
They never did it.
They never
I
nerfed?
mean, what if this is whole?
They never
whole,
fixed it.
Yeah, what if there's just a thing where they were like where they're using the live game as a PTR to see how players would respond to health no longer instantly regenerating from a
Maybe
majority of
it's a
perks?
test for Destiny 2.
What if they just can't prioritize the manpower to get
I've
whatever
considered that
whatever the
too.
fix is?
Yeah.
I've considered that the next
What if they
sandbox
just can't
update is like
prioritize that manpower?
June or July.
What if they're trying to consider in Destiny 2 whether they should just get rid of regen altogether? And they're like, how do people react to this? Let's get some numbers.
Yeah,
That's
could be.
possible.
It's a possibility too.
It's still a very big possibility. They just don't have the manpower to actually do it. Like they're
That's what I think.
100% all hands on deck.
Yep, that's what I think.
That's another reason why I don't think we'll really see it get changed. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
It probably depends on how hard it is to fix it.
Well, considering that fixing one thing caused 10 other things to break in the normal, that's a little bit more volatile than the normal. You change one thing and then some other random things are kind of messed up. So I'm gonna say this one's probably pretty gnarly to try and fix.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? 3 more?
Yes.
Sounds
Get the
good.
one about the Vex thing, please.
I can't find that. What
No, you need to find that one.
All right, I'll look. Well, you guys are asking the next one.
Okay.
Edmund Young says, favorite kind of ice cream?
Peanut butter cup. Delicious.
Ben and Jerry's chocolate fudge brownie.
That is really good.
Chocolate. Chocolate.
That does sound pretty good.
That is really good. The fried green tea ice cream that you get at Japanese places is amazing. It's the
Fried
best.
green tea.
It's really good.
That stuff is
really
good.
That sounds wacky.
Thank you.
I've had that before.
It's
It's
really
delicious.
It is delicious.
I'm a huge fan of It's.
It's oh, the cookies?
It's
Ice cream cookies?
The ice cream cookies from San Francisco.
Is that like a technical? You said what kind of ice cream, right?
It is its own ice cream, Tefty.
It's got cookies
You don't
attached to
know
it.
what you're talking about because you don't eat gluten.
I used
so
to eat
suck it.
It's, and it was one of the things I missed from
thank
going
you.
gluten free.
They're delicious.
So I'm
And
aware.
Okay.
I'm aware how delicious they are. But I would not go and be like, oh, that's ice cream. What do we have in ice cream? Yeah, I brought some It's. I'd be like, those are ice cream sandwiches. That's different.
All right. I like mint chocolate chip.
Tefty was right. It's peanut butter cup.
It's the bomb, right?
Yeah. Andrew, nope. We already asked that one. My bad. Vince White says, do you think Destiny 2 will last long like a traditional MMO, or will we be talking about Destiny 3 in a few years in another fresh start?
It's really hard to say.
We know nothing about it.
Yeah, we don't know anything about it. I don't know how they have Destiny 2 set up. I don't know like what their plan for Destiny 2 is. Like it's.
I don't want to think about Destiny 3, and I bet Bungie don't want either. Can you imagine them on like September thinking, right, Destiny 3? They're like,
well, they should be already working on Destiny.
Yeah, they should be. I can imagine that very clearly.
Yes.
Well, like getting the base concept. Well, hopefully they've got like a solid story
they
going.
should
where
be
like,
having teams on it.
No, not teams. They probably have like 2 people that
are
are
the story
starting to think about it.
The game, the mechanics.
They were working on Destiny 2 when Destiny 1 was just coming out.
Yeah, before Destiny 1 came out.
Yes.
Exactly, which is why they're going to have probably like two or three people working on Destiny 3 now.
Here's what I want. I hope that they have built a robust enough engine that they don't actually have to think about the third installation, but can have a really longevity type of thing that can grow out of Destiny 2, where it lays the foundation for all the things that they could possibly need for the future to be put into the game. That's what I hope. I know it's very rose-colored glass type of look at it, but
I want a cinematic experience.
Constant live event.
Don't you dare
Apparently
talk
that's
about
happening.
Don't you dare talk about 24 FPS.
I will want a Destiny 3 though. Like no matter how robust Destiny 2 is, at some point I will be like, okay, I'm ready for a new game, new experience.
Yeah.
When do we start talking about Destiny 3 being delayed until 2019?
2019. Come on, man. That's aggressive. XX420 No Scopes XX asks, hey, did you guys see that Vex video?
Definitely a real name.
You totally made that name up.
You made that up, Brian.
You couldn't find the original question. Cousin Muzza was the one that's been asking about it, and I wanted to actually get some discussion on it. So the video has been published for quite a while, about 6 months now. But it was just kind of like a highlight reel of a bunch of various cinematics featured in all the Bungie games. All of it looked very familiar, except for maybe like about 5 or 6 separate little snippets that were less than a second long, featuring Vex cinematics. And the level of detail that's in the cinematics, coupled with a lot of how some of the stuff is very similar to a lot of the very early concept art that Bungie had for some of the Vex stuff, makes me think like these are cinematics that we just happen to never see associated with the Vex. You guys, any of you guys actually see this?
It's like a Vex getting the milk put in them, right?
Yeah.
It looks like,
being
an
born.
episode
It's very
of
sensual.
how it's made.
It's
so cool.
it's getting the twab juice put into it. It's like, now I've been enlightened.
It's the Vex milk, getting your. It's like I don't know. There's something about it.
You always got to take it
the
there,
Vex
don't you?
milk is going into the lore. Apparently, the Vex milk actually is the Vex. They're like a liquid race of little like microbes, and the machines are just bodies. They're just like weapons. They're not.
Remember
actually
in Halo the worms that made up the big the what the hell are
Oh
those
yeah.
guys called? The big enemies.
Yeah.
The shield. Yeah. Anyway, so that's
watching it was really
Halo.
cool. Watching it was like got me so excited. The same way as like watching a new expansion or like Destiny 2 trailer. Like seeing the Vex just like in new environment.
Yeah.
And the crazy liquid and stuff. I was like, whoa! Like the second I saw it, I remember when I think it was Fuzzle from Reddit first started tweeting about it, and I saw it and just thought, yeah, it's normal stuff, just normal House of Wolves, and it's all like a Vex emerging. I was
Interesting.
Like, what is that?
Yeah.
It was uploaded to Vimeo about 6 months ago, but it was up there yesterday. Not there
Yeah,
anymore.
it's
They had to take it down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It
they
seems
took
to
it
have
down.
made the rounds and then all of a sudden disappeared.
Yeah,
But there's still a GIF of it floating around, and I know somebody tweeted at me today, and I was looking to see if I could retweet it, but
There,
I
got
lost
it.
Yeah, that's even
Thursdays
bigger
are a
sign.
little rough for my Twitter, if you know what I mean.
It's an even bigger sign that it's actually something. The fact that it's been taken down, either Activision asked them to remove it, or they just removed it, or they removed it before Activision find out. Like, if something's being removed, it's because it's normally legit
Yeah.
or sensitive or some kind of.
It also
stressful
could have been
content.
something that was deleted from Destiny 1.
Yeah.
I think it's Vex Void personally. I think it's the Vex Void.
Vex Void.
Yeah, there was an
That's my
expansion on that. If everyone remembers that leaked thing that showed all the expansions and their plans to release them. Like remember how Taken King was supposed to be named Comet, It was from that, and one of the expansions was supposed to be Vex oriented, and so that could be where that was from.
Yeah,
be where those cutscenes were from.
I mean, I think all of those videos are from expansions, and if there's a Vex one, if there's a Vex expansion that was cut and is being removed and they're being sensitive about, I think the most logical guess is Vex Void that was scrapped.
Yeah.
I want to see.
It could make a reappearance later.
That's my thought too.
I want to see that whole cutscene.
Yeah, the cutscene it
like
looks it's beautiful looking.
It's
Wait,
legit.
we see that in Destiny 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That'll be a bit. That was supposed to be in Destiny Year 2.
Ooh.
That'd be a bit.
Yeah, that is a thing. It's like a really high rendering of it.
Release?
Stuff like that is not easy to produce or fix.
Why not?
Oh, that must have taken teams of people weeks.
That's a whole visual effects department doing that.
Yeah,
like
that type of stuff is something that you don't just throw away either. Like you find some way to use it because it is a very time-consuming and very expensive process to create cinematics of that level and to also render them.
Yeah, here's the other thing too. The only one
salaries.
Yeah, here's the other thing too. The only cinematic on that level that we have is the intro for Destiny Vanilla.
Yeah.
I mean, all the ones in Taken King as well.
Yeah, all the other ones.
You're right. Taken King,
all the DLC cutscenes. So it's definitely.
I think
it's definitely
just Taken King though.
Cutscene.
Yeah.
And Rise of Iron
had one.
House of Wolves still had one in the snow with
the intro cinematics for every single DLC.
Yeah, you're right.
There's a hell of a lot of cutscenes.
So it makes sense that would be the intro cinematic for the Vex Void. Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of work went into it. Clearly, that's like weeks of teams and salaries, and it's a lot of time. And I don't think Bungie, like such a cool thing, I don't think Bungie would delete it for no reason or have it not put in the game. And especially the fact that it's now been deleted 6 hours after it was discovered. It's been deleted. I think it's
so. Does Bungie do their cinematics in-house or do they outsource that?
This may be the company. They're called Prologue Films. This may be the company that produces them. Or maybe they do the special effects or finishing touches.
Yeah.
This company is definitely to do with them, but I'm not sure whether they do the entire thing or just like FX or something. But
it's exciting.
Yeah, this is the company.
I love Vex. I love seeing the Vex stuff. I want more of it too because for me it's like a mystical type of thing. They deal with time and space, and like you said, it's some sort of liquid microbe type of like they're machine, but they're also organic at the same time. So it's a very interesting thing.
Through this liquid,
and they're religious. That's what always makes me most curious about it. So that they're religious.
They're very similar to the Hive. They're like a robot hive.
Yeah,
it's the reason why I hate them the most. They definitely have their milk first. So
nailed it.
Glad you went that way with it.
Oh man.
All right. It's getting late for our guest here, Unknown Player. Thank you for coming on this episode.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Really good. If you want to, I think it was a pretty good episode overall. We had some discussions about the special ammo and the hotfix. Yeah, blade answers.
Thank God, blade answers got nerfed because God.
Thank goodness.
And that truth.
I haven't seen a nerf that good since they nerfed the throwing knife, man.
Yeah,
well deserved.
Why you got to open up that wound?
It's worth opening.
I hated how trip mines killed things.
Yeah,
right. Too. That was
absolutely.
I just hated how much ammo Truth had. It was ridiculous.
Yep.
3 rounds. That's unheard of.
I got killed by landfall every time. Couldn't do anything about it.
Every time I got sniped by a hunter, I was like, that damn quick draw. God damn it.
Anyway,
so many people blinking everywhere.
If you guys want to find more of me, my name is Holtzmann. You can find me at Holtzmann_YT on the Twitter sphere. And I use that word too much. Later.
I'm Briar Rabbit. You can find me on Twitter at @BriarRabbit. You can find me on YouTube on the Briar Rabbit channel or streaming on Twitch every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Just look up Briar Rabbit.
And I'm Tefty Teft. You can talk to me at Teft on Twitter. You can catch the streams I do on twitch.tv/Tefty Teft. Catch my YouTube past archives, broadcasts of my Twitch streams. Also, I start my Twitch streams around 6 p.m. Pacific time, give or take a half hour.
And I'm Miss 5000 Watts. You can find me on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch at Miss 5000 Watts.
Andrew?
Yeah, I'm Unknown Player. You can find me on YouTube, Twitter, pretty much everything on Unknown Player or Unknown Player 03. You can search it up and find my videos. But yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And this has been Pope Bear. You can find me on Twitter at Pope Bear or lurking in these guys' channels. I'm checking out Unknown Players' videos all the time. It's a good resource for you out there.
Should be a good year.
Should be a good year. All right. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in this week. We will see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.